Action!
Hello and welcome to episode 22 of Your Average Critics. I hope you like our new little intro and outro that we debuted last episode. We're joined today by a full house, so welcome back, Chris. And then we've got Joe, Obi and Ollie.
Fuck Chris.
Okay.
Anyway.
17 seconds in, first swear word, banging. So...
Guys, I'm not swearing today.
Okay.
I'm not swearing.
I'm actually...
Give it 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
Alright, I'm writing down on our notepad, Obi swearing. So we're going to do a tally
Little tally chart.
of how
I'm not
many.
swearing. I'm
Yeah?
not swearing.
Okay.
Bloody not swear word.
Bloody.
One.
So Obi, what do you think of...
First of all, we're going to listen to Obi's review of the film Hot Rod.
Oh, we actually?
Yeah.
Tally,
Sounds
ready?
Okay, so,
Yay.
so Ollie's been trying to get me to watch this film for... I don't
2
know,
months.
At least 2
months,
months. At least 2 months. And I finally thought, okay, let me watch it today. And
What message did he tell me to send you, though? What was the message? He said, oh, you need to just watch it, right? Something like that.
Oh, you need to just effing watch it. So,
Oh.
yeah. So, this film is 90 minutes of nonsense. it is honestly, there's like 2 funny moments in the film, and I can't even remember what.
Tell us the plot first.
The plot is some guy, Andy Samberg, Rod something,
Stuart.
yeah, and he is an amateur stuntman, but he's really bad at doing stunts, and he thinks he's sick of doing stunts because he thinks his dad used to be a stuntman, but spoiler, his dad wasn't a stuntman. He was some guy who choked on a pie and died. And so yeah, his stepdad, who he's always trying to beat up but he can't, needs a heart transplant, but his insurance won't cover it, which so it costs $50,000, sorry, to fix. So then he decides to do like loads of stunts, one big stunt to earn loads of money to pay for the transplant.
I can tell in your voice you
And,
just really didn't like this film.
No, so he goes through all this nonsense of like trying to earn money, and he gets like $3,000, and then his brother makes a film of him, but then when the film airs, everybody's laughing at him, and he's like, "Oh, you're embarrassed." He's like all embarrassed and stuff like that. So and then he breaks. What does he break? He breaks something. He like throws something into a police car and smashes it, and then he has to pay for that, and he loses all the money that he raised. And then his mum tells him that his dad wasn't really a stuntman, and he gets all depressed, and he turns from this like wacky character who doesn't care about what anyone thinks to some like average Joe, you know, because he's like, giving up.
Hey, average Joe.
Oh, sorry, Joe.
Fuck you.
Just giving up on his dream, and then he gets convinced basically out of it to be who he's meant to be, which is a stuntman. Does the stunt, breaks like all the bones in his body, which was kind of funny, I suppose. And raised the money for his dad's heart transplant, and then he beats his dad in a fight. So yeah,
Sounds amazing.
it is really crap.
I remember watching it during uni and I found it funny, but
It's hilarious,
I haven't really
right?
seen
I don't
it.
know what was wrong with you that day. Clearly, because
Today.
I forced you to
It's
watch
today.
it today.
It's
Something's
today.
wrong with you today. Because
It
that,
probably-
film, that film is the epitome of me.
It probably is.
It's like
it probably is
it's
'cause
like
you-
my comedy. So
probably-
why are we your friends? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense,
It
mate.
probably is because you forced me to watch it, so I went into it thinking, "Oh, this is gonna be rubbish."
Did you say what the funny moment was?
Terrible.
The ultimate punch bit at like 5 minutes in, and that's the thing that I think there was 2 funny bits, and that's the only one I can remember. I can't even remember the other bit I laughed at. So
okay.
Shocking.
They do
Shocking
say if a
performance
film's
from
bad,
Obi.
you don't tend to remember it.
Out of 10.
4.
Oh wow.
Obi.
Wow.
Never suggested.
Actually,
a film
I'll
to
give
me
it. Actually,
again.
no, I'll give it a 4.5 because of the ultimate punch thing. That was quite funny. I was laughing for quite a bit of that, but everything else was just.
Alright. Okay. Well, you didn't fall. I thought you'd have a few swear words within that, but
Do you know how hard I had to try not to
I
swear?
know. I've never heard you say nonsense more than once in a sentence. Okay, well, let's talk about the Disney Expo that happened yesterday, the D23, something like that. So this is Disney's kind of celebration where they, I think they honoured Stan Lee. They're given some film kind of casting news, some trailers, things like that. So I don't know how much you lot heard about it. Chris, you seem
There was some Lion King stuff. I know that. I don't really know what was. I think they showed like the first 5 minutes of it or something like that. So like the beginning where the Circle of Life song.
The live action.
That bit.
The live action
Yeah.
one. Okay.
I think they showed a bit of that. I'm not sure about.
They
the
tend
details.
to like we've been to a few, haven't we? They tend to show the like first like 5-10 minutes of different.
To be fair, Sorry, Chris, carry on. Sorry. Go.
Right, that was it.
That's it. So I was thinking, like, I think me and Chris were talking about this a while ago. We were saying, not sure how it's going to work, them doing, like, because obviously they did Jungle Book live action, but at least they had one person in that. But like, obviously Lion King's got like no people in it whatsoever. But then I was thinking about it. Then I watched Planet of the Apes yesterday, and I was thinking, like, the CGI in Planet of the Apes is amazing.
Incredible.
So like, if they can do that, then, you know,
Yeah.
I'm sure they can.
They will do it. Like, I haven't seen Jungle Book, but apparently Jungle Book was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So
It was quite good.
I mean, live action's a very loose term, isn't it? It's,
Well-
it's basically going to be an animation,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it'll probably be photorealistic.
Yeah.
But the news was that Hugh Jackman's been cast as Scar, I think.
Interesting.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah, and then you got Seth Rogen as Timon
Pumbaa.
or
Oh,
Pumbaa,
Pumbaa.
one of them.
Didn't I send the cast list to you guys, but there was one question mark over it.
Yeah, that was I think
that-
it was
that was
Scar.
Scar.
Yeah, Scar.
And then James Earl
Yeah.
Jones is doing Mufasa, who's one who
That's
voiced him.
Obviously,
Yeah.
you have to.
That's
You have
classic.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I saw it at the theatre yesterday.
Did you enjoy it?
It was alright.
So-
Oh, it was sick.
Bear in mind that
Sick,
Glenn
fantastic.
went to the theatre for terrorising me about 4 months ago for going
Innit?
to
No,
the
you didn't.
theatre.
No,
you
So
didn't.
it's such a hypocrite.
You've been
I-
twice since then.
I didn't book tickets to
Yeah,
this.
but you went.
I was
Totally.
gifted them.
To be fair, it might be slightly different because we went to New York one. However,
Still.
I feel like Glenn would have said it was rubbish either way, or it was a
Ollie saw it.
I didn't say it was
Ollie
rubbish.
saw it and he
Look,
said
I
it
can
was
appreciate
well.
the production, like the costumes are amazing, like the set design and everything's really intricate. It's just
Are you a fan of theatre in general?
not particularly.
Probably why.
So I mean, I
So
appreciate
uncultured,
the the thing is, off of the tangent here, but like
So non-European.
I didn't even hear what you said.
It's a new own culture.
Well, I can kind of speak at least another European language.
Oh!
No, I'm not saying
Burn! Get out of
saying-
the green!
Oh, mate. I'm just saying that's kind of cultured, isn't it?
Oh, you got a fire extinguisher.
What can he say in English?
Burn.
Oh, yeah.
What can he say in English?
Bruh.
Don't know. It's, you know, go to a German bakery
Culture,
and
mate,
order
culture.
something.
What are you talking about? England's got it's like the most diverse.
Yeah, so what good is it in England though?
What
It's
good
like
is having a
sehr
second
gut.
language in England?
There's probably plenty of people in England who speak German. So, you know.
Cool.
Anyway,
Probably
I
speak
feel
English
like
as well.
the theatre production never recovered from the opening musical bit. So like, the Circle of Life was
Yeah.
such a huge
Yeah.
kind of piece of, you know, choreography and everything. And then like the big elephant comes on and all the people like giraffes and stuff. And after that, none of it ever matched it. Like in terms of the sheer scale and the
That's fair.
impact. But yeah, sure.
Fair enough. Well,
I understand what you're saying.
Questionable,
But
so you're saying if
Don't
they
agree.
if they don't start off like that and they just have a
But they
flat,
set the bar so high, and then after that, it just never really hit the same heights.
So should it end that way?
Well, I think that it
End
needed to end it on
way,
another.
like a curve just going up.
But even with the Hakuna Matata song, like the version I saw, it was kind of low key. You know, that could be a big musical number, or I Just Can't Wait to Be King, or the other.
I mean, they do have to keep doing this like for a good 2 hours.
Yeah.
So, and they've got to do more than one. Don't they do more than one show a day? So
Yeah,
if they
sometimes
did,
they've
if
got
they did
matinees.
absolutely massive numbers throughout the whole film, the whole
Their
theatre.
voices would be shot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's true. But anyway, back to the Disney Expo thing. Any other news?
they had something about Wreck-It Ralph 2, but I don't know what it
And
was.
Toy Story 4. I don't know what that was either.
Wreck-It
Toy
Ralph
Story
breaks,
4. I didn't even
breaks
know-
the
yeah.
internet.
I didn't even know there was
It-
going to be
wow.
a Toy Story 4.
Yeah,
That's
they're-
mad.
that's been in the works for like 4 years now. But
I don't need one. It
The
ended
Incredibles. I
perfectly.
saw the thing about Incredibles 2.
Okay.
So Incredibles 2 comes out next year, and it's
Oh,
going to
yeah.
carry on
Jokes.
from straight after where the film left off.
Really? That was like 13 years ago,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, so
Crazy.
there's going to be no gap. It's going to be
To be fair,
continuation.
That's excellent.
everyone's been waiting for an Incredibles sequel
Yeah.
because the Mole Man came out of the ground and it just ends, and you're just
Yeah.
like,
Well,
when's the next one?
there was rumours that it was going to not have the mum and dad in it, and it was going to be based around
Jack,
Jack,
baby.
Dash, and Violet.
Yeah.
But I think they changed it, and now they're going to do it continuation because of how well their other continuations have gone. So I think Finding Dory is essentially a continuation, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Toy Story 2 and 3 are continuations, and they've done really well. So there you go.
Yeah, but then also you said you heard some news about Infinity War.
So they,
So well, I don't know if it's a spoiler.
I
It's
don't,
just
want to, I don't want to hear any spoilers.
I'll just brief
Plot-
it. So
plot
they,
news.
basically, they essentially said how one of Earth's Avengers meets Guardians of the Galaxy. They said how Thanos is introduced and who Thanos is working with, basically.
he's working with people.
Yeah, and was it you who said that Spider-Man doesn't have Spidey sense?
Apparently, I think that's what
They
Kevin
said
Feige
something.
said.
They said something about Spider-Man, like Tom Holland, and he's standing there and his hair's raised.
Spidey sense.
And I'm assuming that's Spidey sense.
Okay.
It's just
So-
got an allergic reaction to
Yeah.
It's in an electromagnetic field.
Oh, no, I won't say the other bit as well.
Okay.
Text me.
Yeah.
Text me,
Yeah.
so I know.
Okay.
Did they say who dies? Because we've been
Why would they
contemplating
say
this
that?
No,
for
they
ages.
said
I don't know.
the guy
They might have
said
accidentally leaked
the
it.
guy said that they didn't imply that anyone was going to die, but the guy who was speaking seemed to be an active Marvel person. He says, in his personal opinion, he believes that someone will die, but he doesn't know who.
Okay.
So
But there
is
is-
this going to be the end of this
No.
Marvel?
No, man.
Avengers
It's
4's
the end of
in
the
the
first,
work.
like...
Joking.
Avengers 4's in the work. There's like 9 untitled films coming out.
But now that they've all joined all universes, so Guardians of the Galaxy have met the Avengers, are they then going to split off again?
Yeah,
Do you
probably.
think?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
And then you never know. The thing is, you got as well is like in the comics, like the Guardians always in the comics they sometimes have additional members, so other people from the other parts of the Marvel universe can
Rocket.
join them.
Rocket, the
Or-
raccoon. I
yeah.
want to see Parsley, the owl.
Parsley?
Chives, the
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, it's a herb joke. Good
You know
one.
you were talking about I just got it. You know you. You know you were talking. Was it you said the other day talking about Squirrel Girl?
Yeah.
Oh,
You know,
yeah, that's
you know
coming.
the TV show
Yeah.
that's gonna have Squirrel Girl in it.
Yeah.
Oh,
New Warriors or something.
New
like that.
Warriors.
Yeah, there's gonna have like five characters, and they're all
I don't know any
peculiar
characters.
ones.
That's not
Oh,
Squirrel
man.
Girl. I just saw Squirrel Girl.
Yeah, because they want the person from Pitch Perfect to do it. The main character in Pitch Perfect to.
Anna Kendrick.
Yeah, they want her to do it.
What channel's it going to be on?
No idea.
Probably Marvel's own channel. I don't know
Fair enough.
if they bring one out.
You can't wait for
It's gonna be
Pitch
a comedy.
Perfect 3,
It's gonna
can
be a
you?
comedy. I think. Oh god, that is one of the worst films I've ever seen in my life.
Wait, what film was that?
Pitch Perfect.
Pitch Perfect.
Like everyone was raving about it, nobody was just like that. Is
I actually quite like that.
No, that.
Whoa, what?
It's so bad.
They ain't got nothing
so-
on a
so
High School
bad.
Musical.
In it.
Well,
Or-
You just
got
compare
raved
it to
about
High
that.
School Musical and Glee too much.
yeah,
Your
man.
expectations are too
No,
high.
people told me I would like it because of I like High School Musical and Glee, but it's literally it's so bad. It's so bad. Oh my god.
it's because he's a misogynist.
Probably is.
You're a misogynist.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not gonna lie.
So has anyone got any other film news?
I just can't remember anything of it.
Did we talk about the film for Jackie Chan?
I don't
The
think
trailer.
when-
Did
I
you guys
thought-
see?
I thought-
Did
when
we
he's
talk
the
about
old
this
man.
last week?
The
Not
old
last
man.
week, the week before, I think.
I don't think we did.
What's it
Oh,
called?
I can't remember what it's called. but-
You said about it to
Oh,
me.
yeah, I was like, have you guys seen the trailer for the new Jackie Chan film?
yeah.
I've seen the trailer.
I haven't.
He is
Looks
he is
quite good.
He's
ancient.
been-
He's really old.
He's in his 60s, to be fair.
Is it American
He's only
film?
60.
In his 60s.
An
Oh.
American film. Well, it's based
yes.
in England.
Yeah, it's
Oh, okay.
based in it.
Have you noticed that like a lot of films are being filmed in London right now? I don't know. Is it just my imagination? Or I feel like there wasn't the Mummy was in a bit of London as well. So this one's in London.
It's because we're so cultured.
But yeah, thinking like, why?
Well, London's quite a good city for fast-paced action and stuff because there's a lot of.
Have they done Fast and Furious in London?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
I think
have.
the sixth
I was
one.
just going to say because they've done. They go to about 6 different continents
Yeah.
every film.
Yeah, Fast and Furious 26 is going to be on Mars, so.
That'd be
it-
decent.
Yeah.
That'd be so funny. Can you imagine like they're racing spaceships?
Yeah.
That's like Machete. And then Machete
Oh.
something and a Machete in space. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Sick.
Well, the main film out this week, which all of us apart from Joe has seen, is War for the Planet of the Apes.
Not War for the Rise of the Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Dawn of the Rise of the War of the Planet of the Apes
3.
3.
Although you kept saying 2 last
Oh,
time.
I can't remember. There's so many. But, but in the opening, like
I like the.
I knew you
the
were
opening
gonna
little
stick
script,
I like the.
like it says like, oh, in 2010 there was the Rise, and then Rise is highlighted in red, and then there's something that said Dawn, and then Dawn. I was like, please do Rise of the Dawn of the War. I was like, they've heard me, and they're incorporating this into the title. Imagine like, what would that be as an acronym? Rise of the Dawn of the War for the Planet of the Apes. So it'd be ROTDOTWF.
You don't do of the, do you? Most of the time. Or of, even.
Long anyway.
That was so pointless.
But yes, okay, so we won't go into kind of spoilerific detail.
I've got
Particularly
a big question.
within further.
Do you think there'll be a 4th one?
I think they will.
I think they will as well.
Yes.
Oh.
So let's review the film first, and then we'll talk about potential sequels.
Okay.
So you saw it most recently. You saw it yesterday.
Yep,
Is that correct?
Saw it with Opes. So
What do you think?
I want to jump on what you were saying earlier about the CGI. I literally thought I was like sitting in front of like a gorilla or a whatever the flappy faced monkey is. Maurice.
There was only one bit in the film where I thought the CGI wasn't great, but it might have been because I was watching it in 3D.
Right.
And they were like, all the monkeys, it was like the war bit, and all the monkeys were crawling up. And it looked like to me that the monkeys were going like that, all the way up.
So just what? Going
It
side
was
to
just
side?
like really like jagged,
Okay.
not like a good picture of it. But it might have been because I was watching it in 3D, to be fair. Not a lot of 3D stuff in it.
Yeah, so this film came out for a week in 3D. and
Yeah, so
it's come out in 2D.
So it came out last Wednesday, and then it was in 3D only until Friday.
Was that just in our cinema? Was that?
I don't think so, because I looked at other cinemas as well within the area, and they all said 3D.
random.
That's really cheeky. That's just like a money-making scheme,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Because I had to pay £2 for that.
Yeah, and I had to pay £2 and then buy some 3D glasses. So,
Oh, yeah, you did the same, didn't you?
so
I want to go on from this though, and I don't know what you guys think of 3D. I think it's shit, but I think this film could have been quite good in 4D
4D.
if they had.
Yeah.
Because it was like there's loads of snow, so
Yeah.
just really cold theatre. You know, a little bit of wind blowing at the back of your neck, back under the feet.
There's
When you
a bit
got this gorilla
like waterfalls
like sitting in
and
your
stuff like
face, you just have a little bit of like steam coming in. It's like hot
A
or
gorilla
rainy.
sitting on your face.
Yeah, gorilla on my face.
Wow.
I honestly thought
The
it could have
imagery
been
there.
quite good at like 4D.
I think they do it. I think it was in 4D.
It probably in IMAX
In
or
a
something.
cinema in
There's one in Crawley, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's like a
4D one. Yeah.
4D.
Mate,
I think it's one in one
Someone,
as well.
someone at the front throwing shit around.
What was the country we're in? Then they were like 5D.
Oh, that was in
Bulgaria.
Bulgaria.
Oh yeah,
wasn't
they
it?
had the little
That
spiders
was
crawling
crap,
and it
man.
like
That was
dragged
so
against
bad.
your feet.
Yeah.
But so I'll go on to the 3D then. So I watched it in 3D, and you're saying like you weren't impressed by it.
Well, there was
I-
only like two bits that were
But-
that emphasised the 3D.
But I think for us, because we kind of grew up with the red and blue
The
glasses,
shit 3D.
but that was good 3D. But
The best
back
3D.
then, for me anyway, I think this is how 3D has changed. Is it used to be 3D was all about someone reaching out
Yeah,
and like trying to touch you sort of thing, like
Yeah.
Spy Kids 3D.
Yeah.
I think now,
Best 3D
especially
film ever made.
especially with like I've seen The Force Awakens in 3D and then this in 3D. I think it's more about the depth.
Yeah.
So when I was watching The Force Awakens, I watched it in 2D, then in 3D.
That's a strange film to see in 3D.
But literally, the depth of perception that you can get, like within like the spaceships and stuff, is incredible. And again, that's what I noticed with War for the Planet of the Apes, is like the detail within their cave or any of the settings that they have is really clear. And then I kept taking my glasses off to see like what the difference was, and it does kind of look a little bit flatter.
Yeah.
So I think that is kind of where it's going, rather than
Immersive. Next
Yeah.
it's going to be
Yeah,
VR, isn't it?
the
Like
pro-
you sit in a
the pro-
cinema with a VR set on your,
Yeah.
your face.
Yeah. The problem
The
we've
gorilla.
got with like making these statements though is that we like Spy Kids is a kids film,
yeah,
and we don't tend to go and see kids films, so we don't know if their 3D does do that.
yeah, that's true.
So their 3D could still
But I mean-
reach out.
The thing is like War of the Planet of the Apes is a 12 rated film, which by its certificate you would say it was like kind of, you know, if an adult took their child it'd be suitable for them. I think this was a very, very dark and violent film.
I don't know. There wasn't loads of gore. There wasn't any sex.
No, but it's
Drugs,
like there's like
rock and roll.
slaughtered there's like slaughtered apes like right at the beginning.
Yeah, that was that was pretty depressing.
Yeah.
I was like, why are they
And they're
hurting
like-
these poor monkeys?
They're
They're
like
endangered.
throwing them into the river, and you just see these like corpses of like apes just floating down.
And
But you know, it's just
there's
someone in a.
genocidal tendencies
it's-
in the film as
So
well.
it's
Yeah.
just someone in a morph suit, though, isn't it? With ping pong balls stuck to him.
Yeah,
so it's
okay.
like not even realistic.
So this is my question: if the film, it was the humans were doing this to other humans, or the apes, you know, the roles were reversed. So all of the atrocities were happening to humans. Do you think this film would have been rated higher? Because is there like a kind of lack of
Yeah, it would have
empathy
been.
because they're CG kind of?
I think it would have been
Non-human.
higher.
I don't know,
What's
because what if it's-
Hacksaw Ridge?
But yeah, what?
15.
Yeah, it would have been a 15.
Yeah, if it's like personal, like human on human.
Yeah.
Essentially.
I say this though,
Hacksaw Ridge
a lot of
thing.
humans got, but you don't really see it though, do you? As much. It's
No.
more you see the apes slaughtered more than you see. I think
Yeah, but there's some very like sadistic kind of
Like with
themes.
the mentality the mentality of some
things
people
like that.
Yeah.
is like really bad. Like, but I thought it was a good twist. Like how. Yeah, I know. But,
Sorry.
damn it, Joe.
Joe, watch it next
the
week.
main twist in it.
Yes, I
That's
thought that
a really
was.
good
I
twist.
thought that was
Joe,
really
leave
good.
the room and then we'll talk about it.
There is a main twist, and
Literally,
it's
go.
very, very
Literally,
good.
go outside
Alright.
and then come back.
Alright.
Well,
I'll come back.
Joe, right? Joe's gonna leave,
Fuck
yeah,
sake.
and then we're gonna give some spoilers.
Go for a swim in the pond.
I wish I wasn't. I wish I wasn't working so much.
Go to the
Here
end
we
of the
go,
garbage,
here we
go.
go, mate.
In that shed, he's got.
Just keep walking until we look really small.
okay, so you talking about the?
Is it Woody? Yeah.
Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
Woody Harrelson. Him actually doing it of his own accord, and these people following him when it's not the bigger picture that they want. Like it's not what everyone wanted in the government.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
I thought you meant.
I thought the way he died. I thought that was a real big like letdown for me.
Well, I was well confused by that.
Yeah, I watched Ollie Apple. They literally did. They didn't know why he did. They didn't know what was happening. Apple was like, "Oh yeah, I thought you was."
So that's
I thought
what I thought was a really good. That's what I thought the twist you were on about.
Yeah, that's what I
because
thought you
he
talked
talks
about as
about how there's the virus. So obviously, like massive spoilers now for War of the Planet of the Apes because Joe's not here. But yeah, so he talks about the virus manifesting.
Yeah, but
and-
as soon as he said that, I knew he was going to get it. As soon as he said it, like
Yeah.
that's the thing. And I thought it was just. I thought there was going to be some sick ass fight between him and like Caesar, and then it was just like, all right, he killed himself. Like great.
yeah.
That's a that virus thing is a Easter egg to the original films as well.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, so in the original film, excuse me, in the original film, none of the humans can speak. So they're literally like they're all primitive. They're all like they're literally like beasts.
So this is why I don't think there's going to be another film, because the end of this one kind of leads on to
I suppose
the
it does.
start
Yeah,
of the
I suppose it
original.
kind of does.
Because there was, so I was sitting in the cinema and there was a couple guys next to me, and as soon as that thing came up saying Nova, these guys started chatting, and I was like, this is
That's it.
something to do with the original or a previous film.
In the original,
And then you said
in the original film, Charlton Heston is the main character. His love interest, her name's Nova as well.
Oh, okay.
So-
But I feel like
Cool,
that
that's
film is almost 50 years old,
Yeah.
so they should remake it to be in line with the current technology.
What are they going to do going forward? Because in my head I was like, oh, it shouldn't be called War of the Planet of the Apes, but then I suppose the apes planet is that that state, I guess.
Yeah.
So that
Well,
is
I think
their
it's
planet.
War for the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, true. Yeah. So
Sure,
what-
they could just reboot the original Planet of the Apes, to be honest.
Planet,
is it
Because
even a good
because
storyline?
that one, yeah.
is it in
because that
space
one-
though?
Nah, in that one, it's
So
on
it's
Earth.
on Earth.
It's on Earth, yeah.
Oh, right.
That's the
Mark
the
Wahlberg.
twist. I'm sorry if you ever watch it.
No,
if you watch that, okay,
I
so
am going to watch it, but I don't
So
mind. Yeah.
in-
Mark Wahlberg is
so-
like it's the space bit because he like goes. I think he's in space.
Oh,
that's
and then
2001.
Wait,
And he- yeah.
you talking about the original or the Mark Wahlberg?
I'm talking about the original one. the
Okay,
original
and you're talking about
You're
the Mark
talking about
Wahlberg.
I'm talking about because he's like an astronaut and he thinks he's landed on a different planet and then
So yeah,
boom.
Oh right.
so yeah, in the
that's
original
pretty
film,
good.
they've been traveling for I think it's only like 18 months in their time,
Yeah.
but in space time, apparently it's like 2,000 years. So they land on a planet and it's like the year 3,978 or something like that. And so they like he goes to this planet and there's all these apes and they're literally like they are humans pretty much. Obviously they look like apes, and all the humans are basically animals. Like they can't speak, they can't talk, blah blah blah. And all the apes, they don't know about any past history, so they just think like apes were apes and that. So they basically think like evolution is reversed. So like
Right. Okay.
so humans turn into apes rather than apes turn into humans.
I suppose in that perspective, it probably did happen
Well-
like that. So
Well, yeah. So Charlton Heston's trying to like he gets captured and they get shot in the throat, so he can't talk. So they think he's just like the rest of them, but they realize that later on that he can like communicate, he can talk. So like his voice does get better eventually, and he can talk. And they basically think he's like a mutant or a beast, and they're trying to like do experiments on him. So like he like loses his memory or shit like that. So he spends
Boom!
That's 2 in a row.
damn it! How did I get 24 minutes?
24 minutes for
Man,
Robbie's
it's
first two
well
swear
done,
words.
mate, well done.
just keep going. Keep
But
going.
so yeah, so
Just gonna swear word after another now.
he's got a there's a doctor trying to help him called like Dr. Zyla or something like that. And this film's actually, sorry, I've got to just quickly point out, I don't know if this was intentional, but it's kind of like, it feels like it's low key racist.
Oh, really?
Because so in the film, I think it's the gorillas maybe, they're like the darkest of the monkeys. they're like the workers, like the manual labour workers. And then you've got the slightly lighter ones, who I think are chimpanzees, and they're like doctors and scientists, stuff like that. And then you've got the lightest ones, who are like orangutans, and they've got like a really fair skin, whatever. And they're like the chief counsellors and presidents, stuff like that. So I don't know if that was like a low-key like little race thing or what, I'm not sure.
Well,
But
from
I
the
don't know.
60s.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was that. Anyway, so then Charlton Heston's character escapes with his love interest Nova, and they kidnap the president of the thing, and they take him to this cave where they found like what's it called? Not antiques. What's the word for like fossils? Thank you. Sorry. thanks to myself. Fossils to show him that humans came before apes, and that guy's basically like. He reveals basically that he already knew that there were humans before apes, but he didn't want anyone else to know, because in their ancient scriptures it says basically that man is evil, man will destroy anything in its wake, even his fellow man, stuff like that. So, and then Charlton Heston's character's like, well, that's this planet, this isn't Earth, this blah 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 blah. So then he goes off on his own adventure to go out of the Forbidden Zone, which is like, because they're only on their little island, they don't know what anything else is out there. They call it the Forbidden Zone, then no one travels outside of it. So he travels outside of it, and he comes to a beach, and he basically like he's on a horse, he gets off the horse, like breaks down, and like he's like screaming, "Oh, you did it! Oh, I can't believe you did it!" And he's like pounding the sand, and then it pans round to the remains of the Statue of Liberty. So showing him that like it's Earth after a nuclear war. So he's not actually on a different planet like he thought the whole film, but he's actually been on Earth this whole time. It's just Earth in the future, which is a really good twist. But because I heard it before, which is really annoying, because I wish I hadn't known that before.
The weird thing is though is that apes did become before humans. So apes did come before humans.
Well, you know,
so that's kind of wrong. Should we get Joe back in?
Yeah.
Are we not saying anything?
Wait. To be fair, we haven't finished. We haven't really talked about. No. Because we haven't really talked about it.
But we don't have to go into spoilerific detail, do we?
But just tell me something. How did the virus manifest in the first place? Is it just because the apes?
It's because of James Franco. So if James Franco
simian
didn't
thing.
try and do the right thing, what he thought was the right thing, humans would still be around, and it wouldn't be a Planet of the Apes. So blame James Franco.
Okay, and there's no cure to it, and people just stop talking.
Well, that's the thing. So
there was a mutation. That was a mutation of the vaccine.
Oh, the vaccine.
yeah,
right.
and then they became unable to speak. The humans.
That's it. I like that happened, but I feel like it was just there should have been something bigger in that moment.
And what do you feel about Caesar dying at the end?
It's not definitive. We don't know these.
I think he's definitely.
We don't know.
He's
No, it's
definitely-
not definitive.
yeah, I think
it's not
he is.
definitive.
Is it
That's
like?
what makes me think that. That's what kind of makes me agree with Ollie that there's not going to be another one.
But it doesn't have to follow him, does it?
Doesn't, but
No, but
it's a
it would
bit-
just be like a. It's
To be
good to
fair-
have a main character like Caesar that you can follow, but without him, who are they
To
going
be
to
fair, if
follow?
they did do another film, they could follow Cornelius, because Cornelius is a character who's in the other films. He's like a scientist. and stuff like that.
Okay.
So that
Or
could-
Bad Ape.
Yeah.
That sounds like fucking Dobby.
Yeah, look bear like Dobby, isn't it?
The thing
Yeah.
that confused me at one point was who actually died in that cave. I was
Oh,
so
it was his-
confused on who was
Oh,
dead
yeah.
and who was alive.
His wife and his older
His
son.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I got
He
that.
said my wife and my son.
Yeah.
It was
Like multiple times.
Yeah, but
It was-
he said it, and then I was like, and then the little kid appeared, and I swear he gave the little kid to another ape to look after.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
son's
And then-
girlfriend.
Lake.
Or
And
wife.
then later on, his son's captured, or was that just
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
that's
because
exactly
when
what-
he split up from the herd,
Oh, they all got captured.
They all got captured.
Oh, right. That
Yeah.
I just didn't. I was not in that.
Okay.
This was like
I just thought that was a whole other colony of apes that had just been captured.
I thought that at the beginning as well.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
was, it seemed like an escape film. A
Yeah.
prison escape film for the majority.
Prison Break.
But
Ape
right
style.
at the end, I don't know how you felt leaving the cinema, but I was saying to Obi, it felt like leaving a funeral.
Yeah, literally.
Like there was like quiet music in the background.
Yeah.
Caesar had just died. It was really like everyone was just fucking
Yeah.
so
We were saying
quiet.
that because
It's like- I felt like crying.
Yeah.
it was proper
Mate,
emotional.
Bossman 1 died as well. I was bare
Oh,
upset.
Bossman! Chris, you know about Bossman 1. Thank you. I wanted to say to someone, no one else knew. Oh, it was you. It was me, you and Harry was there. No one else knew about Bossman 1. Anyway,
Bossman 1 and 2 in it, but Bossman
Mate.
2 is still up there.
so,
Joe's still outside.
so wait, so I should say one last thing.
Bless.
Shit, I forgot what I was going to say. I swore again. Oh, no, I forgot what I was going to say.
All right. Well, Joe, let's get Joe back in, and we'll review it, but in a non-spoiler way, which is probably the most backwards way of talking
Yeah.
about a film ever. So
Just wanted to
Um,
get rid of Joe, though, didn't we?
yeah. So,
So guys, what did I miss?
Basically, you missed James Franco returns,
We
and
didn't really spoil anything. We only spoiled one thing. Really,
and
to be fair.
James Franco returns and stabs Caesar in the eye.
Fair enough.
Actually, no, I don't know. Shut up.
so War of the Planet of the Apes. It continues Caesar's story.
Caesar dies.
What?
I
I don't know. I haven't seen it. So it follows on like 4 years or so after Dawn of the Planet of the
Right,
Apes.
okay.
And
Isn't it
it's
like
like in.
Sorry, I'll distract you with Boss Man.
I think it's 15 years after Rise.
Oh.
I might be wrong. But anyway.
Anyway.
So there's like a war between the humans and the apes because I think in Dawn, at the end of Dawn, one of the apes called Cobra, like, kind of it
you
set
seen
this
second
war
one?
in motion.
I've seen all of them, apart from this
Okay.
one.
And then so then after peace is not possible, Caesar kind of goes like on a mad one.
Yeah.
And like tries to.
There's a couple points where you think Caesar's not the guy, but then you realise he's the guy.
He's the man.
Yeah.
And then and then he's trying to fight this guy called the Colonel, played by Woody Harrelson, and then his kind of crew of soldiers. But yeah, it's like proper visceral film, isn't it? Like, you know, they got this callbacks to like Full Metal Jacket, if you've seen that, when they got the helmets that says like Monkey Killer and
Oh wow.
They like. There's a like the clever thing as well is there's like. Not everyone's with Caesar. Not all the apes are with Caesar.
Yeah.
Some of the apes have gone to the human side, which
Yeah.
I thought was a really clever twist, and it's not really giving anything away because that's in like the first 5 minutes you realise that.
yeah.
Although I thought they were being enslaved, but it's not. That's not the
Some
case.
of
is
them
it?
are, yeah. But it's like really dark themes for like a
Mhm.
12-rated film. Like slavery, like kind of genocide, I guess.
Yeah.
Imprisonment.
Is it PTSD? Caesar had as well.
It looks like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it's hitting. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. Actually, yeah.
But it's a testament to like the film, the graphics, and the story that I don't know about you lot, but I was on the side of the apes. I was like, these
100%.
humans
Yeah,
are like,
100%.
you know, I was like, come on, apes, I want you to succeed and.
Take all of us prisoners.
Because
Yeah.
Caesar had heart. Like he didn't want to kill, but he had to. And then there was times where it didn't get reciprocated back to him, and it was just like, rah, come on, when's the help gonna come? When's someone gonna give him throw him a bone or something to help him out? But like,
But it's the natural conflict within the hero, isn't it? It's like he tries to do the good thing, the right thing. When he can't, he has to sacrifice some of his morals.
Mm-hmm.
But so like the first two films are kind of from the perspective of the humans, and this is like very much perspective of Caesar and the apes.
Yeah.
And it's like really like some proper kind of emotive stuff in there. And
I love his facial expression.
yeah, and even like there's a ape in it called Bad Ape, and it's just like
Oh yeah, he
really
was,
like
It's like
sweet.
dog-
and
yeah, he was like the comic relief of it all at points, and it was really funny actually, but sad at the same time. Like, also. But I'll tell you what, sugar honey iced tea. What was I gonna say?
No,
We'll come back.
No.
What do you think about the girl?
yeah.
Shut up.
Rude.
I kind of felt like she
Did
was.
you have a stutter or something?
I kind of felt like
She couldn't talk.
Oh.
kind of felt like she was like the X-23 of this film.
Okay.
So like she's just, you know, I understood why she was there, but I kind of felt like she wasn't that necessary.
Did they keep her?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they keep her.
I was gonna say the thing I was gonna say is I nearly cried when Boss Man 1 died.
Oh.
Please don't know who that is.
Chris, don't do it.
Okay,
Don't do it.
Boss Man 1.
I mean, it's a war, so I'd imagine a lot of people die.
Yeah,
It's
but
gonna
no,
happen. It's gonna
it hit me hard.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna be
It's,
right.
it's very much the fight for survival on either side. The fight for survival. So you know,
Oh, that's what's gonna
one kind of like species has to triumph, and
Apes together, strong.
I love that.
That's
I do-
such a rousing, like, oh, go on, Caesar.
I do just kind of think, why haven't they just nuked that state if they really want them gone?
Well, that's the thing. You don't know whether this has happened.
Yeah, this
over
could be
the
all
world.
over. This could be all
That's
over.
true.
Yeah, it has happened. Well, that was the end of the first film. The virus spreading.
Well, yeah, but there's
I
a
feel like in the second film, didn't it say wiped out like all but 10% of the population?
Yeah.
Am I imagining that? I feel
No,
like
but
You
there's
might be right, actually.
there's a line in the film from one of the apes, and he says like, "Are there others like us out there?" Yeah, I guess what by that they mean like sentient and like
Yeah.
you know semi-intelligent.
Yeah, because they were shocked when they saw that other one, weren't they?
Yeah.
And
Bad ape.
yeah, and
Um,
just mad.
Yeah, but I thought. So where do we rank this within the trilogy?
Oh, do you know what? It might be the. I think because the first one was so good to me, I'm gonna say this was second for me.
I think I agree with Chris.
Ollie?
This has got to be the top one for the trilogy. I saw. I didn't see the whole film. I saw the ending to the second one just recently because they obviously had them on for the highlight for this film coming out in the cinema. But like the second one seemed like the graphics seemed really poor towards the end. I think with a huge like fight between Cobra and what's his name, Caesar. And I don't know why. Maybe it's just.
I think Cobra's, or whatever you say his name is, his CGI because of his scar on his face is a bit more difficult for them to pull off.
Yeah.
Well, I did want to ask actually, what was the length of time from the second film to the third film being released?
3 years.
Real time?
Oh, 3 years.
I think it's 2014.
Okay, I was going to say because if it was like a year, they did really well with this CGI to do it all in a year, and Avatar hasn't done theirs in what 12.
Yeah, but they're trying to shoot 8 of them back to back. But for me, this is probably on par with Rise. I mean, they're very...
Oh, do you Rise... What's
Rise
your
and
favourite?
War. Probably equal. But for me, it's tough to...
Did you not like Dawn then?
I did like Dawn. I mean, it's a very strong trilogy.
Yeah.
I can't think of any other trilogies that are as strong, to be honest. Maybe the first Star
Rush
Wars.
Hour.
Sorry, mate.
Rush Hour, mate.
But it's just because they're two tonally very different films.
Yeah.
Like, Rise is like a human drama, kind of like... all about James Franco's dad trying to get better. War is like a proper war film, like, you know, very gritty. So tonally they're very different, but I thought both incredible. And for me, I think what makes Dawn a little bit lower is that it took me so long in the film to get over the fact that these apes were like riding horses and shooting machine guns. And I was like, these are apes. But then like by the end of it, I was like, okay, I've accepted this. But
But they still don't use two hands on a gun. They're just like gangster.
Yeah,
like,
side.
rah, rah, rah.
So yeah, fantastic film.
Great film. Out of 10.
Ooh, 9?
Good.
Oh, that's high.
Yeah.
I think I'll give it a 9 as well.
Third one.
Maybe an 8.5.
Towards an 8.
Towards an 8.
Towards an 8.
Wow, that's lower than I thought. What would make it an 8 for you? Like if there was an orc or...
Obviously. Vigo was in there.
Caesar had the one ring in it.
Yeah, one ring to rule them all. Okay, well, off the back of this then, I want to know, as we're over halfway through the year, what are your favourite films or TV shows of this
I
year?
feel like I can name Obi's favourite film.
Okay.
Everyone.
Logan, innit?
Cool.
Yeah.
Alright,
Logan.
why?
That
Why
that
is
film
Logan better than
that
any other film you've
is
seen this year?
Fantastic. Highs, lows, funny bits, sad bits. Had me all over the place, and the ending was just like, oh, so sad. But yeah, and like I think the story was really good, and it's like obviously it's like a superhero film, but it was like kind of like a western as well.
It was
like
gritty.
Yeah, and it's like a drama, and yeah, man, it just had it all.
Have you revisited it?
I watched it twice, but I feel
Okay.
like I'm gonna watch it again at some point.
He's gonna watch it in black and white.
Yeah, I probably will. To be fair,
3D.
I just really enjoyed it. I think because it was Hugh
Like, what's coming out
Jackman's.
at you.
Well, it's because it was supposedly Hugh Jackman's last. I think that's what made it a bit more like.
Emotional.
Yeah,
Especially
Okay.
the way it ended.
exactly.
Joe?
So, yeah, it's
What
definitely
about you?
You're gonna have to come back to
TV
that.
show. TV show. I'm not sure. I have to think about that for a minute.
Yeah,
Yeah, not
Can you do
not
TV?
not
Can you do TV?
Shots Fired or
Yeah.
Power or...
No, Power's only just started. Season 4 of Power's only just started.
Okay.
When a question's asked, everything goes
Maybe
black.
Arrow.
Come
Maybe
back.
Arrow.
Arrow?
Maybe Arrow.
Okay. Chris, film and TV show.
Do film first, because I feel like you're thinking of all of them.
I'm trying to think of all the films I've watched, to be honest. It's like Hacksaw Ridge was good, Planet of the Apes was good, Logan was good. I might say Planet of the Apes, you know?
Yeah?
Yeah, go on then. Yeah, come on. Put that down.
Alright. Can you think of a
TV
TV
series.
series?
Trying to think of a really good one that I've watched this year, but it's not happening at the moment. Come back to me on the TV series.
I'm gonna say Arrow. Me personally.
Series what of
So
Arrow?
it's 5.
What was so good about Series 5 of Arrow?
Went back to the good old days,
yeah,
mate.
went back to basics, like street level, like kind of like Batman, Batman-y sort of, you know, like
Batman-y.
yeah. So like he's just like not face, because I like for the last 2 seasons he's been facing like these like magical mystical characters.
Okay.
And it hasn't really. That's like not their strong suit. And he's just like gone back to like facing like gangsters.
He basically went against a psycho
Yeah,
who
and
was
against the-
actually sick at being
Yeah,
a psycho.
exactly. Yeah. The guy was like just like.
I saw a spoiler, you know,
Did
for
you?
season 6.
Did you?
I'm so gutted. It like came up straight. Like I was on Facebook. I just scrolled and it was just a picture of one of them, and I was like, "You." It just said it in the headline as well. I was like,
So our strong characterization, then back to roots. Okay. What about
proper
you?
deep as well.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
Favourite film probably Transformers, isn't it?
Oh wow, Get Out.
No,
Get Out. That was a film.
That was
Anyone like that?
Get Out.
Was that this year?
That'd be up
Yeah.
That was this year.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought it was like late last year.
No. Get Out's a strong contender.
Yeah, I'd say actually, now that you mentioned it, Chris mentioned Hacksaw Ridge. That was a good one.
Yeah,
That was
really good.
I'd
actually.
say Get Out. Yeah, that's probably my top. But you know, as lame as it's gonna sound, I'd say Spider-Man. I find one of the most entertaining films this year.
It was
Yeah.
very
Okay.
entertaining, to be fair.
But it's because it's Spider-Man, not because it's Marvel. So don't get your panties in his fist.
Okay, so what is it about Get Out that has stuck with you, or Hacksaw Ridge that's stuck with you since January or February? When
I don't know.
it
I
came
just
out?
found Hacksaw Ridge was like an amazing war film, and it was a little bit different to every other war film because it was solely half just dialogue, getting to know this character, and then the other half just like blood, sweat, and tears of just like grenades going off left, right, and centre.
Can I just say, Hacksaw Ridge,
Yeah, go on.
at the beginning, is the two brothers fighting. Is he the brother who hit the other brother in the
Yeah.
head?
Yeah.
Or is he the one who got hit over the
No,
head?
he hit him with a brick.
Okay.
And then from then he became like a
pacifist.
pacifist.
Yeah, right, okay,
Never
I
heard
wasn't
anyone
sure, like, but that's what I thought. But I thought I'd just ask.
Imagine you got hit in the head. You're like, okay, I'm not gonna hit people.
I bloody bludgeoned to your head, didn't it?
Okay, so with Hacksaw Ridge and with War for Planet of the Apes, that's two kind of very different sides of war that you see. So like Hacksaw Ridge is kind of like from a conscientious objector's point of view, and like war is bad, but I'm not saying in Planet of the Apes it's war is good, but it's a lot more kind of brutal and I don't know.
Yeah, but like for the War of the Apes, I didn't really feel like it was a war movie as much as it seemed like really political, and it seemed like I said earlier, like a prison escape movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's only really a few huge fight scenes. There's only a couple really actually of huge fight scenes. And they don't last that long.
And also, yeah, no, you carry
No,
on.
no, go on.
I was going to say, like, on Ollie's point, it's like one man's agenda in War of the Planet of the Apes, while Hacksaw Ridge's whole country's agenda versus another country's
Was
agenda.
World War II not just Hitler's agenda?
Oh, knowledge.
True, but didn't he get other countries involved as well?
Well, because he invaded them and kind of indoctrinated.
True.
All right, let's not
I'm
get
just
political.
but I'm just saying,
Let's
like,
not have a history
but,
lesson.
but would you say that maybe you thought it less of a war film because it wasn't humans versus humans, or
No,
okay,
not really.
fair enough. All right.
I know because you loved it, mate. Stop trying to sway my opinion.
No, I'm just saying, like, I think
He's trying to sway your opinion, he's hitting back on mine.
What's
Bloody
your-
hell.
It's like
What's
you
your
guys are wrong,
answer?
but doing it in a nice way.
Yeah.
What's your
bloody
answer to the
Well,
question?
alright, I didn't do TV. Rick and Morty.
Oi, do you know what? You know,
Or
do you know what?
Brooklyn
Do you know what?
Nine-Nine.
I actually might have to agree with you on Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty. I've started watching it. It's so funny.
It is very funny.
Um,
It's
hilarious.
I was
Mr.
so
Me-
glad
Mr.
you-
Meeseeks
I'm so
one is
glad you
so
told me to
funny.
watch it. It's actually. Have you seen season 3, episode 1? So jokes.
It's Szechuan sauce.
Yeah.
It's fucking amazing.
Um,
Obi, now you have to watch it, mate.
it's really funny, but I don't know.
It's only 20 minutes, mate. It's only
Yeah, it
20
really
minutes.
is. They're bite-sized,
Obi won't like it.
palatable.
If I like it, Obi won't like it.
For me, the top films of the year gotta be. I reckon War of the Planet of the Apes is up there, but I think probably because of how entertained I was, Baby Driver is probably number one.
That's good.
It's a very good film, actually.
Um,
Mate, no, what's it? Mindhorn, mate.
Mindhorn. Oh dear. Okay. What about? I think it's gonna be a very easy one. Worst film of the year. So Transformers.
I don't know. What's it called? With.
Sleepless.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm thinking about Transformers is definitely worse than Sleepless, in my opinion.
I think for me, most disappointing film has got to
Sorry.
be It Comes at Night, the one that I talked about last week.
Yeah.
Because I just thought.
Actually, maybe Hot Rod. Maybe Hot Rod.
Yeah, but that didn't come out this
I think
year.
we were
That's
talking
true.
about just cinema.
True.
No, to be fair, I would agree with you about Transformers, only because I think that's the most disappointing as well, because it didn't really have that much further to go downwards as a slope of film, as a saga of film, and it exceeded that and went so far down. It's unreal. Like, I genuinely, and I've said this several times, after an hour, I was in there 2 hours in, and I thought I was an hour in, and I thought it was like 2.5 hours in.
Yeah.
It was so long and rubbish and just incoherent and sloppy, man. Like, it annoys me. Someone should watch these films and just say, this is rubbish.
Yeah, right. We're not the audience, though, are we? So you said there was a kid next to you, and he was like proper getting into it, and he was like,
yeah, true.
jumping up and
he
down.
was like a 10-year-old kid, so I don't know.
Like I think, like just like if you're a kid, all you want to see is like explosions, and like aliens and
but
monsters.
Then, I suppose, but then
because
they didn't
when
need
you
all
leave
this.
the cinema, you can pretend with your friends who's what character.
True,
Yeah.
but then you didn't need all that other stuff with what's his Hannibal being in it, and I've forgotten his name.
Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, that's the one. Like, didn't need all that. Then you could have just literally taken that out and just been like, oh look, we found a mansion with all this stuff.
Yeah.
Let's raid it. And
What about like Pirates of the Caribbean 5 then?
never saw it.
No, it's not rateable.
Fast and Furious 8 that came out this year.
Well, that was good.
That was good, man.
Yeah.
Not as good as 7, but it's hard to top 7, isn't it?
I
Just emotional aspects and stuff.
I thought number 5. I thought number 5 or 6 was the best one personally. What's
And
the one where they have the safe and they're dragging it across
Number
the street?
5.
Yeah, that's my favourite.
And no one thought Wonder Woman was up there.
That was so it was good. It was definitely overrated though.
Okay.
In my opinion, it was overrated.
Because I'm calling you out on this because you said it was really good when it first came out.
Oh! Did I?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I want to find. I need the receipts. Hold on. Talk about yourselves.
Just because it's really good doesn't mean it's not overrated
I want to
though.
find it.
That's true.
Yeah, but his opinion might have changed from the other movies that have come out
True.
this year.
That's true. What do you feel was overrated about it then?
Thank you.
I didn't like the twist.
I thought the baddie at the end was right.
Who
Like,
Ares was.
I didn't mind that twist. It's, the more you guys have said it to me, the more I've hated that character at the end, like the big villain that they made.
Ares.
Yeah, I know Ares, but like they actually CGI'd him into that absolute monster of a man.
Yeah.
And she was just invincible. I mean, that's like Superman. That's why I don't really
Well,
rate Superman
she
films.
was
to be honest.
born to kill Ares. That was the whole
Supposedly.
point. That was the whole thing of Wonder Woman.
I suppose, but
Yeah. It did get a lot of critical acclaim.
yeah, I mean, I think the first like 3/4 of the film, I thought was really good. Like they had some depth to the characters, they had like really good relationships among them. It's funny. It's just I think the last bit really just wasn't.
I don't know. Why did it get a lot of acclaim though? Why? Because one person said it was a good film, so everyone kind of goes on. It's
think
like really because critics.
Why don't you just type it in search?
Like
That's what I'm doing.
we
I found it, so I'm
we
probably
all
going to
critique
What did I
films.
say? Go on.
So you said, sorry Ollie, so you said for a superhero film 7.5 out of 10, for a DC film 8 out of 10, and for a film in its own 7.5 out of 10. So then you're telling me it's overrated, I don't understand.
Yeah, but you can say a film's very very good and
No,
it can be overrated.
no, because
you can.
That was out of 100.
But no, but here you're saying like 8 out of 10
For a
probably,
DC film.
Surely.
For a
it's
DC
or even,
film.
okay, 7.5 out of 10.
That's alright for a superhero.
And I heard
film.
you say the other day that you thought, oh, it wasn't that good. So I don't understand what you're saying, Chris. Come on.
You can change your opinion after seeing it more than once.
Tweaking, mate. You're tweaking. You haven't seen it more than once.
How do you know I haven't seen it more than once?
Have you?
Yeah,
I don't believe you.
I have.
I don't believe you.
No, don't believe in
I
it.
don't believe you.
Don't believe in it.
Okay.
It's just a matter of like.
Tweet your answer. Do you believe Chris? YAC Podcast 17.
Well, regardless, you
Nice
can change
one.
your opinion about something, and
You're tweaking, mate.
Alright, I was gonna say my TV show of the year has got to be 13 Reasons Why.
Interesting.
It was.
It's the one that's like stayed with me the most, and you know,
Yeah.
it wasn't. It's not the most perfect TV show. There's a lot, we talked about it. There's a lot of things that were kind of wrong about it, but just thought overall it was so good.
It's, like you said, it's one that stuck with you. It's obviously one that made an impact.
Yeah,
on others.
more so than was Stranger Things this year, or was that last
That
year?
was last year.
Okay,
I think that other one. No, OA was last year as well. I think.
but I just think Game of Thrones starts tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be my series.
It's going to take.
So I just thought we need to get this in before that
I
starts.
can't wait.
And has anyone else thought of a TV show yet? Obi, you said Arrow.
I feel like there's something else, but I can't think of anything right now.
Riverdale.
Until 1927.
Riverdale.
No,
No.
Riverdale's decent.
Joe, what about Attack on Titan?
Oh, no, okay, you're going for the. Oh,
Yeah.
man, my chair. Okay, interesting.
Attack on. No, I wouldn't say it's my favourite one of this year. I'd say my favourite one of this year that I've been watching is Dragon Ball Super, just because I'm a Dragon Ball fan.
Can I ask you guys a question
Yeah.
about
Okay.
Dragon Ball Super? Chris,
Yes.
you as well. So, so are you watching it with or without subtitles?
With.
You're watching with subtitles?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you watch it, compared to when you watch it with subtitles and when you watch it without subtitles, because someone was saying to me that they think it's better to watch it without subtitles because sometimes words don't translate over.
They definitely don't
words
translate.
English.
They
So
don't.
you think for like authenticity, it's better to watch it without subtitles?
But is that dubbed
But
or just in Japanese?
it's subbed. It's not dubbed. What do you mean?
No, as in like, are you asking? Would you rather watch it with subtitles or dubbed?
Yeah, that's what he's asking. Yeah. He's
Okay.
asking if
Yeah,
you want it to be dubbed or subbed.
that's what I want. That's what I want.
I think it's fine because personally, when they get a word wrong, you know what they're saying,
Yeah.
and it's just a little bit in it.
I felt kind of like when we were watching what's that film that one we watched? You know the
Silent Voice.
that's the one.
Yeah.
Like some of the translations didn't quite
Yeah, no, they don't.
come
Nah.
across well.
And I think whoever you were speaking to,
Yeah.
for me anyway, because obviously I grew up with the American version of Dragon Ball Z, you obviously get used to the characters' voices. So watching it subbed sort of takes you out of it a little bit. But
Okay.
subtitles are fine.
I agree. However, I'm on episode. Well, I've just finished episode 99 of it today.
Oh my
No, no,
god.
spoilers.
99.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball
Wow.
Super.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
So I've watched that one, and
Is it season 1? Is this like
there
one?
is
they do it in arcs. So different arcs
Yeah.
happen. And basically, I've got used to his voice as it is now in his Japanese
Who,
speaking
Goku?
voice. All of them.
Oh,
All of them. I've got
okay.
used to all of them.
Yeah.
So then to have it transition back would be really peculiar, I think, for me.
I found it pretty weird when I've been watching it in Japanese with the subtitles. After I've watched an episode, I can, for some reason, it just pops into my head with the American version of that character saying those lines,
Okay.
and I can remember it in the American, like with the American voices.
Okay.
It's really weird.
Yeah.
But
Look, yeah.
If something's mistranslated in the subtitles, would it not also be mistranslated in the dubbed version? Because surely,
Depends who's dubbing it, because some people just, it's either if it's done by the company it won't be, but if there's like, so the sites I watch like this on, I think they do it themselves or someone does it,
okay.
so that's why there's the mistranslation of it.
No, well, actually, yeah, it depends on what sites you use.
Yeah, like
Normally, Funimation do it.
I suppose, but that's not for all anime. But I think some people do it because they do it as it's released, so someone's got to be doing it, don't they? I don't know. I think it's all right.
And what? But you watch Attack on Titan, so Joe gave us a rundown of it last
No,
week.
really
Well,
bad.
he asked me the other day if that was the actual ending to it. So didn't you? You thought there was more episodes?
Yeah, because when I looked on the website I used to watch the episodes, season 1 had like 25 episodes in it.
I'm sure it only has 10.
So
But
what's the ending for you then?
what's the ending?
So Joe said something about he gets
Attack on
eaten
Titan.
and then comes out of his stomach.
I can't even remember that.
That's season 1. That's the first couple of
Oh
episodes.
yeah, now you've confused me on what the ending
Season
is.
2. The ending was
That's a big sign.
Reiner and I've forgotten his name. The 50-meter Titan run off.
Jonathan.
No, not Jonathan.
Eric.
It begins with a B.
Basil.
run off to their hometown, and
Right.
all the scouts retreat back to the.
Oh yeah, because they got the main character back.
They
Basically.
got Eric back. Yeah.
The thing is with this season, it's a bit different from the first because the first one is you find out these giant people
Titans.
who are titans who attacking these villages of people who've got a wall up, and then you like find out that a few people have the ability to turn into these titans when they like bite themselves or something
Cause
happens to
harm to
them.
themselves.
Yeah, and then in this series, it's more the history behind it. You're trying to find out, so you find out that titans actually create the wall. That's
Okay.
what my understanding
Yeah.
was. So when something happens to them, they crystallise and that creates the wall. And there's this one character who knows about it, and their task is to go and get this character so they can find out. And then there's like the twists and turns, and then you find out different titans have different abilities, and
Yeah.
and it's just like
It's all over the place. Really, you need to watch it.
yeah.
Okay.
Really.
It sounds like one of those ones that's really difficult to explain.
To understand what we're going on about, you need to watch it.
Can I talk about a cartoon that I was watching?
Yeah.
On Netflix. It's called Castlevania. I don't know if anyone watched
That's
I've
a
seen
segue,
I've
mate.
seen it on there.
That is a segue.
I've seen
You don't
it
do that
on-
when you're host.
It's
do you?
based on the game, isn't it?
Yeah. So, I don't know what game this is, but based on it.
Castlevania.
But yeah. Well, I never played it. So, but yeah, based on the. I think it's only 4 episodes long.
What?
Yeah.
That's mad.
I've watched 3 of them, and it's kind of weird. It's about you got like Dracula.
Oh mate, there's a massive twist. Do you like it?
It's okay. Is it?
I think you're like
Do you think? Alright. So, you got Dracula. Then you got this woman who's a doctor who comes to Dracula's door and is like, I need your I don't know, your
essence.
No, not even.
Now.
I don't even know what the word.
Intellect?
No, she needs stuff to make medicine. Basically, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what I would say.
Fang venom?
Juices.
Fang venom?
No, like
Ectoplasm.
like actual stuff that he has in like his house,
Medicine.
Like herbs?
stuff like that. Yeah. So
Coriander.
but yeah. So then,
5 spice.
Star anise.
so
Bit of Ollie's hair.
what was I saying?
She's come to get
Sorry,
herbs.
thank you. So the doctor comes to the house, and he's like, at first Dracula's really like standoffish towards her, and then she's basically like, kind of like, get over yourself. I just need some of your stuff to make medicine. Da, da, da. So he's like, okay, now I'm in love with you. So whatever. So then this is set in like 1455, by the way.
Okay.
So yeah, so then like 20 years later, they've been married, and this doctor woman, she's getting burned at the stake for being a witch. So she gets burned at the stake, she dies, Dracula comes, finds out that she's dead, cries bloody tears, which I think is kind of nasty, but obviously it's a cartoon, but anyway. And then he swears upon the whole village that in a year's time, he's gonna fuck everybody up. Excuse my language again, that's number 4.
Oh wow,
So,
Obi, 4 already.
I know, I did like 3 while you were
I missed it all.
But yeah, so he's like, yeah, I'm gonna mess everyone up, like gonna bring hell to the city and stuff like that. So then a year passes, and the archbishop who burnt his wife at the stake in the first place is kind of like being like really cocky about it. No, sorry, he's the bishop. He's been really cocky about it, and the archbishop is like, oh, the devil came to our door and he threatened us, but nothing happened. See, which obviously at that point means, you know, the devil's gonna come. So the devil comes, or Dracula, whatever he is, I'm not sure what if he's the devil or not, and all these beasts come and they are mashing up everyone. It's quite funny, like ripping eyeballs out and all stuff like that.
Wow,
But,
this sounds gory.
Yeah,
for you.
it's like a 15 to be fair. But yeah, mashing everyone up. And then it goes to like this geezer called Trevor Belmont, and he's in a pub, and he's like one of the last people from the House of Belmont, and they've been like excommunicated from the church and from like the whole city, so their whole family's like outcast and whatnot. But their family used to fight like beasts and demons and stuff, so he knows how to like fight beasts and stuff. And basically he goes to like one of the last cities that hasn't been ravaged by all these like night beasts and stuff like that, and he sees these loads of priests that people are trying to kill, because the bishop has basically convinced everyone in the town that the reason that these beasts are coming to kill everyone is because of these priests who are preaching some sort of, I don't know, nonsense that they believe is not the word of God. So then everyone's trying to kill these priests, and Trevor Belmont's like nah, like allow it sort of thing, and he's and he's like a sick fire, so he's just like mashing everything up, chopping off people's hands and poking at people's eyeballs with his sword and daggers and whipping people and stuff like that.
Damn.
So yeah, that's 3 episodes in. That's pretty much all I've got to. There was a Cyclops as well, and he threw a dagger in the Cyclops' eye.
That's really strange that it's only 4 episodes. Like,
Yeah.
how long is each episode?
20 minutes, 25 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
They do
Do you reckon it
sometimes
was
do
a
that.
Do you reckon it was a film that was just split up, or is it like?
Maybe, but if it's based on the game, maybe they're just doing the big major points in the game or something. I don't know.
So have you seen the game? Played the game, Joe?
I've never played the game, but I've watched a lot of videos on the game because it's sort of credited as one of the better games ever.
So what console was it on?
It was.
Dreamcast.
I can't remember.
Do you reckon you get as aggravated as you do playing that as you do when you play FIFA?
Bastard.
Oh, that's the funniest video I've ever seen.
Joe gets so aggravated
Oh my
playing FIFA, like you've never heard the
Mate,
C word shouted so loudly.
Joe, I was literally crying. I was literally in tears.
Throw your YouTube, mate.
Oh
What's his
my
YouTube?
goodness.
Um,
Steve-O94. Steve-O94.
Well, there's a link to it in the bio of the podcast, isn't it?
Oh man.
It's funny, man. If you get more views,
You
then-
get more money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to talk to you, Ollie, about Unbreakable, because now you've seen it.
No. Yep.
So
No, I've seen it.
a few weeks ago when I was talking about it, I couldn't spoil the ending. But what did you think
Now
of
you
it?
can spoil it.
What did you think of the film?
I liked it. I've seen
Unbreakable?
it. I've seen it before. I just couldn't remember because I've seen it years ago. But I liked it. It's kind of like Bruce Willis. I'm not going to explain the story because you already did. But Bruce Willis trying to get to terms that he is actually a superhero, but is like a modest superhero, and he doesn't want to believe it because, well, you
It's
know,
unreal, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
But And then he finds out the truth, which is
that Mr. Glass is the villain, and he's the one who's caused all these disasters.
So
that
did he
can...
cause the original train disaster then?
Yeah.
So he knew prior to that.
So spoilers to Unbreakable,
Why?
but this film's like 20 years old.
So
Why?
Mr. Glass is named so because he's got such brittle bones that if he falls over, he'll break a lot of bones. So he thinks that if he's one end of the spectrum, there must be someone at the other end who doesn't get hurt by anything. So at the beginning of the film, Bruce Willis is on a train and it derails, and he's the only survivor. You find out throughout the film that Bruce Willis was injured in a car accident, and that ended his football career. Slowly, you find out that actually Bruce Willis wasn't injured. His wife was going to leave him if he dedicated his life to football. So he needed an excuse to stop playing. So he said he was injured in this car accident.
Okay.
And then, so a lot of these, there's been a lot of like...
Why was his wife going to leave him?
Because he had travelling around. Yeah, something like that. But
Selfish.
Think of the money.
That's what I mean.
Sure. Yeah, I know.
Anyway, carry on. Sorry.
you lot would be good wags.
So there's been all these it turns out Mr. Glass has tried to set up all of these disasters like train derailments or airplane crashes sort of things to try and find someone who survived against all the odds.
Okay.
And then he contacts Bruce Willis, and then he's like, "You're a superhero, like you're unbreakable," sort of thing. And then right at the end, Mr. Glass says, "Oh yeah, I know this because I was the one who derailed the train," sort of thing. And then it ends, and that's what frustrated me.
Oh.
It's because that is like
So they don't feel like fight each other or anything.
no. So there's a term in
Well, you can't really fight him.
Well,
He's like sitting in a wheelchair and he's like,
but there's
slap him and his face will just like melt.
There's a term in film called the inciting incident, right? You might have heard it if you did media, but it's like the moment which kind of kickstarts the rest of the plot. And this feels like an inciting incident, right? So you find out the villain is behind these things, and you're like, okay, cool, then they're going to battle or whatever. Like that's typically what you get from a superhero film. And then that's what frustrated me, because I thought that was going to kick off the second or the third act of the film, and then it just ended, and I was like, whoa,
But the thing is, what was he going to do? Like, if he hits him, he's dead, pretty much.
I don't know. You could.
It's clever though, isn't it?
If Bruce Willis is a superhero, Mr. Glass has got to be a super villain.
Yeah,
Well,
so
he
says he's like every yin till you're yang or whatever.
Yeah, so he must have some. He's got a good mind. He must have. He
There's
might
gonna be
have provisions.
Maybe there's going to be another twist. Maybe Mr. Glass created Split.
Well, maybe.
Well, you were saying that there's going to be a third instalment.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Split is the sequel to Unbreakable, which you don't find out until
Till the very, very,
very end. And then there's going to be a third one called Glass,
Which
so
is
It's
a
going to be called Glass. Nah.
I think it's going to be called Glass. So I'm assuming that Bruce Willis, Samuel Jackson, and James McAvoy are going to be in it, but I don't know.
See, my thought was that Mr. Glass would help.
James McAvoy.
Nah.
Oh really?
Yeah. Because if he wants to be the true supervillain, there can't really be any other villains in his way, really.
The thing is, I enjoyed Unbreakable up to the end. I mean, I didn't dislike the film, but I was just like, it just kind of felt that just as it was about to start, it ended, and I was like, oh, come on. But other than that, it was an entertaining film, good twist, but
I just thought Split, the ending was just a good twist to bring it in with it.
Yeah. I don't know, but it kind of felt like a film they just made, and then he was like, "Oh, how can I just retrofit this to?"
I think so. I think that's exactly what they've done.
Unless there's Easter eggs throughout the film that we didn't get, I definitely agree as well.
Because I don't see how James McAvoy's character, etc., are gonna fit into, how they're gonna fit into that world. He doesn't feel like.
Well, if Thingy's become a superhero in that world, then he's gonna have to go after him, isn't he?
Yeah, that's true. Did Split come out this year?
Yeah, January.
That was a pretty good film.
That would be up there.
There's been some really good films this year, actually. Really good films, but then we haven't watched them all.
Followed by some real flops.
Yeah, some absolute devastators.
I haven't seen that many flops, to be fair.
No?
I would say it's
Two.
on my hand. I can count them on my hand.
Alright.
So not that many.
Go on then.
Okay, Transformers, Sleepless, off the top of my head. What else has been? I suppose
To be fair, two
just
on
ones,
his hand.
just
that's
ones
it.
that come out on my or ones I've seen this year.
Ones that have come out this year.
Ones
Yeah.
that come out this year. Probably just those. Off the top of my head, those are two.
Was there a La La Land this year?
That are really bad.
I think it was last year.
That to be fair, La La Land wouldn't go for me as like one of the worst films.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's okay. It's not like
Bang average.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, only those two really. Like there hasn't been that many duds this year, I don't think.
Because actually, The House was actually alright.
That was okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it,
really?
it had funny bits, so it was alright.
Because you like slandering it, like.
Yeah.
It's a typical Will Ferrell film, so
Which is good.
that's
Yeah.
good. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with
that's
that.
it.
Like, but I think it left a bit to be desired, to be honest with you. But hey.
The thing is, like, after you've seen them, like, you kind of think about them a bit more sometimes, and it's just like, some of these parts of this film were really bad.
Mm.
Okay, well that brings me on to my second question,
Alright.
which is: are there any films that you have seen a long time ago, and then you watch them several years later? Not necessarily this year, but several years later, and then your opinion of them changed. So, for example, when I first watched the film Click with Adam Sandler, I thought it was a really good film. Like, you know, funny, kind of sweet,
Yeah.
and kind of touching.
That's how Adam Sandler gets you, doesn't it?
And then I watched it a
He
second
paints
time a
his
few
foot
years
out.
ago, and I
Shit.
thought it was dreadful.
Shit.
And I don't know if that's just because my opinion of Adam Sandler's
I think
gone
that's-
down
I think
the
that's exactly what.
I don't think, from what I remember, I haven't watched it recently, it wasn't the greatest film. Good idea, not well executed,
Yeah.
sad moment as well.
But it's a
innit?
shame because you say like, if you ask me, oh, what do you think of X film? I'm like, oh yeah, no, it was really good, but I haven't seen it since like 1998, you know. And then I watch it again, I'm like, oh, that's crap. Like Independence Day, first Independence Day, like I remember that being like really cool, cutting edge. And again, you know, technology's changed.
Yeah,
I appreciate
a
that,
lot.
but I just thought generally the story was really bad. Because like I've been watching Predator
What,
1.
the first one?
Yeah, I don't know. It just wasn't very good for me. The second time I watched it,
Fair
because I remember like I tried to watch it again before the second Independence Day film, which I haven't actually seen. But I was gonna watch that and then go and watch the second one. And then after watching the first one again, I was like, nah, I really don't want to see the second.
Do you
film.
wish that sometimes after you've seen a film, you could forget it and then rewatch it so that you kind of have like the same feelings again? Because you
Yeah.
know, whenever you see the same film again, you're like anticipation's gone. Like you said about the spoiler for Planet of the Apes, you know, you wish you hadn't have known that, so that it's like a big surprise.
Yeah.
Do you guys get that ever?
Yeah.
Yeah, all the time. You get more TV than films, to be fair.
But then there are some films like the Usual Suspects where it's got such a good twist. I'm not gonna say it if none of you've
Usual
seen it.
Suspects. I'll
Um,
have to watch that.
But then once you
Guys,
see the
that's-
twist, you then rewatch the film to see if there's any like hints to
Yeah.
that
Yeah, yeah,
certain
yeah.
twist. But yeah, so there are any films that you've seen that maybe on a repeat viewing it's got worse or maybe even better.
The Amazing Spider-Man 1.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd be the
I think it's
same.
gotten better.
I think it
Okay,
has.
so what was your opinion of it first, and then
So-
how would you feel it's changed?
The first time I was thinking like, this isn't as good as the original Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I don't like Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. I think I didn't like Gwen Stacy either. I was thinking like, where's Mary Jane, blah blah blah. So then I watched it again. Excuse me, sorry. I watched it again yesterday, and I'm still not a biggest fan of Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, but I think he's actually pretty decent. His Spider-Man is better than his Peter Parker, if that makes sense. Does that make
Okay.
sense? So,
Yeah, his Spider-Man's a lot more quirky and...
So I think Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker is really good. But his
He's a nerd.
But his yeah, exactly. It's the thing like Andrew Garfield. So like in my mind, I don't know if this is like canon or whatever. In my mind, Peter Parker should be like a nerd, like really nerdy. And Andrew Garfield was not really. He got beaten up, but he wasn't really like a nerd. He was kind of like
He was a hip nerd.
yeah. He was kind of like quite cool, but like still got beaten
I
up.
mean,
and
he's a
stuff.
skateboarder.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So
Took photos of people.
It didn't really.
Okay.
It didn't really pull through for me. But yeah, so watching it the second time, I thought the CGI is like 1 million times better than the original Spider-Man. The original Spider-Man.
I was watching that today. It's so bad.
It's so bad. Like, it's the film. I really enjoy the film, but the CGI is honestly, obviously, it's 2002,
Yeah.
but it was just really, really terrible.
For some reason, it really got me because I was watching it this morning. It's like when he's trying to get the web out, and
Yeah.
he's just like Shazam,
Yeah.
like bang. And
Oh yeah, that was cracking. He was like,
I was like, surely that
cracking
would
up.
work though.
Yeah.
'Cause he just went like that.
I was cracking up at that bit.
And
yeah.
he just slammed into the board as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
oh, yeah.
Another thing, I'm sure in the Amazing Spider-Man, Joe, you've watched it recently, so you might. So like, it not annoyed me, but I was kind of like, he just kind of knew how to shoot webs. So like we was just talking about now, like Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, but that's because he
made
designed
it.
his
He
web shooter.
engineered it himself.
How
that's why.
did he know he could produce it?
Because
Because I think because he made it and he used it on the computer, I think that he knew the like trajectory of it and stuff. So that's why this is my assumption. So that's why he could just go like that and it would action it.
But like, how did he know that, like, I don't know if you...
Because when he went to Oscorp, when he got bit,
Yeah.
he like touched the web, or he saw the formula for...
Didn't his dad
The
make
webbing.
it?
Did he start?
And they went into that train thing, and the
in-
train like opened up into some big laboratory thing that... Was this number 2?
That was the second film.
Is that the second
That's
film?
the second film.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, that doesn't really matter.
I think so.
It's neither here nor there.
There's an alternate ending to the second one.
Well,
Is
so
that
say
where-
still done.
She survived.
No, he's at the funeral and his dad appears and sits next to
I
him.
think I've seen that.
Oh,
I think you
really?
showed me. I think you
Yeah.
showed me that. Yeah.
But then, am I right thinking that there's an ending to this to Spider-Man?
Homecoming.
No, it's
Oh,
Amazing
right.
Spider-Man 1,
Yeah.
where the crocodile guy is in prison
Yeah.
and some guy just appears and talks to him for a moment and then leaves.
Oh, I don't know about that bit.
No.
Or someone's talking to him while he's in the prison cell.
Yeah.
Might not necessarily be there.
Yes.
I thought it was Mysterio.
It wasn't Mysterio.
Who was it? 'Cause
Someone else.
They don't really pick up on that in the next film.
It's a guy in a long trench coat and a hat. But
Yeah.
you never see his face.
Yeah.
Flasher.
It's not Mysterio. I can't remember his name, but he basically sets up the Sinister Six, which they was gonna do before they.
Okay.
That's the thing, right? Like, Amazing Spider-Man films were not amazing,
No.
but I feel like they were going somewhere quite good with it.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that, in one respect, that they kind of had to reboot it again. Because is it Amazing Spider-Man 2 where you see everyone's suits, like
Sections.
Doc Octopus
Yeah.
and whoever else is in it.
Vulture.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, cool, you know, they've got some good ideas for this.
Yeah.
But, so, upon watching Spider-Man 1, Amazing Spider-Man 1 again, does that change your opinion of Spider-Man Homecoming or Tom Holland's performance as Peter Parker / Spider-Man?
Originally when I was watching when I watched Spider-Man Homecoming, I was thinking like, oh yeah, this is so much better than like Amazing Spider-Man. But now when I watched that one again, I think like, they're not that far apart, to be honest. I don't think. I would say if I was to rate them, I would say like original Spider-Man's an 8, Spider-Man Homecoming is a 7.5, and Amazing Spider-Man's a 7. So I think they're not really that. I think as far as reboots go, all 3 iterations of it are actually, they're tonally quite different, but they're all in their own way. They're all really good. When you think about one like Fantastic Four, like the original one was decent, and the reboot was fucking was fucking terrible.
Was terrible.
Was terrible. Like, and then you compare that to like Spider-Man. I feel like the original one, so Amazing Spider-Man and Amazing Spider-Man 2, pretty good, and then Homecoming was pretty good as well. So yeah,
I think with Homecoming, Tom Holland got the balance of
Really well.
Peter Parker and Spider-Man.
yeah, I agree.
Basically, almost perfect.
I agree.
I think it's because he's so much younger than the others doing it. Like, I know Tobey Maguire's meant to be playing a teenager and he's about 20, nearly 30 when he's doing the film. But I feel like he's just way too... He just gets... Like, I know Tom Holland gets bullied in it, but
That's
he's
how it's
alright with
supposed to
it.
be.
Like, Tobey Maguire just gets absolutely ruined in it. Like, ruined by everyone. The bus driver's taking the mick out of him. They trip him up. Like, they try and beat him up. Like, the hot girl don't even notice him and she's been living next door to him for years. Like, he just gets slaughtered. Even his best mate does him in, really.
It takes a lot longer to progress as well. In the original Spider-Man, he gets bitten like the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
In the Amazing Spider-Man, it takes like 25 minutes for him to get.
Yeah.
Did you, I mean, you probably did touch upon this, but did you like that they didn't show how he became Spider-Man in the Spider-Man Homecoming?
I didn't mind it, because I've seen it twice already.
Yeah.
I didn't
Everyone
mind it
knows
at
the origin story.
He mentioned it, didn't he? In it?
In passing, yeah. There was something else I was going to say as well.
Yeah, but people want to see it.
But it gets to a point where you've had so many films, you know exactly what happened. You don't want to see it. It's like Batman. We saw the origin of Batman from Batman Begins.
Yeah.
The first, whatever his name was, Christian Bale's
Bale.
Batman. With Ben Affleck's, you know the origin story. Just gloss over.
Yeah.
Do a gloss.
Gloss.
Done.
Yeah.
Finished.
I was going to say one last thing.
I totally disagree.
That's
I
fair.
disagree.
I can understand where it's come from, to be fair, because if you're a person who's not really that into Batman, and you're going to be watching thinking like, oh, I'd like to know a bit more about this.
I think as well, because it's different actors as well, so you kind of want to see how they would portray it.
But the thing is,
just
you
because I know, obviously, going from Christian Bale to Ben Affleck is stepping down, about 2 flights of stairs.
It's harsh. It's harsh.
if anyone's probably going to portray it well, it's probably Ben Affleck because he's a massive comic book guy. But and Ben Affleck's one's totally different because Ben Affleck's meant to be like an aged Batman,
Yeah.
while Christian Bale was the origin story Batman.
Yeah. Actually, based on that, you know Matt Reeves, who did War on Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, he's directing the Batman film, and he's starting from scratch with the script.
Oh.
So the script that they had written for it, they've completely disregarded.
I remember Ben Affleck had made a script, and then he said he wasn't going to use it though. And I was like, could have probably.
Wasn't he supposed to be the director of it as well? But
I think they offered it to him, and I think he just straight up just was like, no.
Last thing, sorry, about the Spider-Man 1. I'll just quickly go back to Spider-Man 1. Going back to my thing about realism. So...
Oh dear.
Yeah, we go pick that, so
no, wait. So... I just think it was silly. So, in the first Spider-Man, after he does the wrestling thing and he wins his like $3,000 or whatever, and the guy only gives him like 100.
Yeah.
And then he goes out the room, and then the geezer robs him, and he's got his gun, and he's like running towards the lift, and then the guy is like, "Stop him!" and he lets him go, obviously, and the guy's like, "Oh, why didn't you stop him?" And he was like, "Oh, it's not my problem," or something like that, which I think is a fine response. But in reality, it was like the guy had a fucking gun. Saw it again. The guy had a gun, and like, so I can't understand why the owner of the wrestling place would expect a teenager to try and stop a robber with a gun.
He's a wrestler.
And wasn't there a
He's a wrestler.
Wasn't there a policeman as well with a gun who could have
I
just
think there
shot?
was a policeman as well. Yeah. So.
No, there's a lot. Like I watched the.
Oh, sorry, I got a couple more.
Yeah,
Sorry,
go.
Sorry, there's a bit with in the first one. Sorry, there's a bit with
Uncle Ben
when Green.
Oh,
I wasn't even gonna say that, but Uncle Ben and Aunt May are so old. Why are they so old? They're like 68, 70. I don't understand why. And Peter Parker is what, 17, 18? I don't understand why they're so old. Anyway, moving on. So, the bit where the Green Goblin attacks the fair thing that they're having, and Mary Jane was
Oh my days!
In all the commotion, Peter Parker sprays a couple webs in that. I'm thinking, how has no one seen this? I understand people, and he ripped off I was like, how has no one seen you do this? I was literally like...
I got up to the bit where he saves Mary Jane, That's the bit I got up to at home. Literally, I was like, the bit where the Green Goblin shoots the like terrace bit down, and she's just on this bit, like leaning on it, like, "Oh, save me!" She could have literally just crawled off it. And then you got like James Franco, who's like standing there like an idiot, like, "Oh, should I help her?" And he gets knocked out, like. And then Spider-Man leaves James Franco up there. Like, can I just say that? Also, he uses his web not only then, but in the wrestling competition. Like. Someone's going to add two and two together here, like...
Do you know what I mean? And he just ripped off his thing in front of loads of people. I didn't know that.
That's Superman, isn't it?
That was no one seen this.
Well, how much realism do you need in a superhero?
I'm just saying.
Also,
it doesn't bother me, but I'm just saying.
There's also a blooper thing in there, like, apparently the scene where Green Goblin's versus Spider-Man, and Spider-Man jumps over the glider, and the glider stabs Green Goblin. The whole wall shakes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's just like a set...
Okay.
47.
I really liked Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin, by the way. He's a really good supervillain.
He looks like a villain. Like his smile.
So you're gonna say he looks like a goblin?
He would have been the perfect replacement for the Joker. He has that like edging of a Joker smile. It's mad.
One thing I liked about Homecoming was the fact that so you know when you play video games or even in the films, like Spider-Man can just swing from anywhere. He just shoots a web and it attaches to something. Whereas like when Tom Holland's like running through the golf course, so there's nothing to his web to grab onto, so he just has to run. And I was like, okay, that's quite a bit of realism. Because when I play Lego superheroes, so I'm just swinging on loads of shit, and it's just like in the sky. I'm like attached to a cloud. I'm like, that's not realistic, mate.
It's just that one helicopter floating about. You're like at the top of the Empire State Building, and you're still swinging. You're like, what the hell's up there?
But speaking of that, has anyone seen the new Spider-Man game that's coming out?
On PS4.
It looks really good, actually.
Sick.
It looks really good. Apparently, it's got a really big world, like sandbox world.
I played the PS2 one.
That was so good.
Yeah, the PS2 one.
Oh, but okay, back to the question. Has anyone else got any films that they've watched?
The original question.
Watched and it's got worse than the second viewing, or better, or anything like that?
I'd say Pineapple Express. I've seen recently, and I saw it when it came out a few years back, and I think there were a lot of laugh out loud moments when I first watched it, but obviously again not so many the second time. I guess it's just because I knew it was coming, but it's still pretty funny, and it seems such a basic story that there's not like loads of like huge like conflicts going on, obviously, except for this huge gun battle towards
Right
the
at
end.
yeah.
But a lot of it's just like the difference between Seth Rogen and James Franco's character. How they're just like, I don't know.
Is
They're
there
trying to have a friendship, but it's not really. It's kind of just
It's
like
like
a
stone-
working relationship.
It's all stoner humour.
Yeah.
But is there a case of the fact that maybe the James Franco, Seth Rogen, that sort of stoner comedies, just there's been so much of it in the last few years that maybe it's just not as
Petered
funny.
out.
Yeah.
That doesn't appeal to me,
No, I think
personally.
it's the opposite. I think that they're just like bringing out really funny films, but they're so funny. It's just like it kind of reminds me of like Shaun of the Dead, where it's like really funny. You see it, but you can always go back to it and watch it over and over.
Yeah.
And it's not that you'll find something new that you didn't notice the first time.
Yeah.
It's more that, you know, it's still funny whatever it is because it seems so like pretty much disgusting or just like out there and
Just over the top.
yeah,
Sort of. Yeah.
exactly. Like with This Is the End, where like Jonah Hill's like having get sex by the devil and he's like trying to have sex with him or something like that. He's got a dildo cracking up.
And then Channing Tatum's like a gimp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's mad, that film, that's so mad.
It's funny though.
Chris, mate, what's yours?
I don't know, you know, I haven't really rewatched any films recently.
Wonder Woman, no?
Yeah. Got worse, mate.
Oi.
I was actually going to say that myself, but then I thought, you know what? I'm not going to stoop that low, mate. Yeah.
Go on, Chris.
There's been some shade
Go on, Chris.
thrown.
Anyway,
I
get
was
away
just-
from the conflict.
Yeah, jeez.
It's like War for the Planet.
I was going to say I Am Legend, but it got better, but
I did it.
yeah.
What did?
Why?
Legend.
I Am Legend.
What
It was
that?
good, but it just got better. Because I watched it and I was like, I just really liked it all.
Do you like the ending? Have you seen the alternate ending?
I've seen there's like three in there.
What alternate ends?
So there's the one where he commits suicide himself.
Yeah, there's one where he
What,
gives
the one
back
where
the body.
they punch at the same time and the
Yeah.
grenade explodes. Right.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that's the end.
That's
Generic
The,
ending.
yeah.
Oh, there's only two endings, yeah.
And
only two
there's
endings.
the other one where it's like he gives the body back of like I guess it's like the wife or the
Yeah,
girlfriend
the
of like
wife,
the
yeah.
leader zombie thing.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
And then they like
And
run
he's like,
off
yeah,
and it's
safe.
all happy ending.
And then,
Oh,
and then they go to the what's it called, isn't it? Yeah, I think for dramatic effect, you think the ending they chose is definitely.
I don't.
Yeah.
He could have like because he let a girl go down the wall, right? He could have still just like pulled the pin,
Unless
chuck it, and then be like, "See you
I
later."
think it's more definitive though, isn't it? Because like, if he's got it in his hand and he's hitting someone, then they're not going to run away because they can't see it. But if he chucks it, then there's potential that they'll run away and come
Chuck it
after him
back.
later. yeah, very much. Yeah, they're pretty
True,
smart to be
very
fair.
true.
As a zombies go.
There's a poster in I Am Legend on the cinema
Batman
and it
v
says
Superman.
Batman versus Superman.
Superman,
I
yeah.
remember like people be like, "God, that's an out there concept." Like
Illuminati
Batman
confirmed.
Ooh, get your triangles out. Anyone got any other films or TV that they would like to mention?
Matrix.
That I've watched or that we.
Oh,
or that
I
we
thought you was on the question.
Are we in the same question?
Whoa!
Or are we moving
If
on?
you want to answer the question,
Yeah,
Joe.
I was going to answer it. Jesus. The Matrix. Is it Revelations or Revolution?
Revolutions.
I think Revolution.
That's the third one, right?
third one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got worse.
Did you have a high opinion of it in the first place?
I did, but when I watched it, I was young, maybe 12 or 13, so all the visual effects seemed up to date. The fight scenes were epic, but watching it recently, the CGI is terrible, and the ending's a bit of a cop out.
Okay. Is that
Isn't it?
Yeah.
It is a bit of one.
When he just levitates and you can see him as the sun. It's I didn't like it.
It's a bit of a meh ending, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rubbish.
Damn. Ending on a
That's
downer.
segue.
Ending on a downer.
I should tell you a film that I actually liked better the second time I watched it. Shrek.
Really?
First Shrek. Honestly,
Shrek is
I watched it the first time and I was like, this is boring. And then the second time I watched it, I was like, actually, it's pretty
When
fun.
did it first come
Was
out?
the first time when you were 8 and then
2004?
the second time when you were 20 though?
Yeah, pretty much.
And you're like,
pretty much.
and you're off your face and you're like, it's Mike Myers.
Tell us about the Untouchables or Intouchable or whatever it is in French. Apologies for my pronunciation.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Untouchables because my French is lacking.
It's merde, mate. Your French is merde.
Wait, Intouchables or Untouchables?
Intouchable.
Intouchables.
But I think in
It's-
French it's Untouchable or
Yeah,
something.
it's like Untouchable. Anyway.
Alright, alright, Mr. IQ.
Oh.
Here we go.
We digress. Anyway,
Cultured, mate.
so
Only if you've got it right, mate. Only if
Oh,
you've got
God.
it
that's
right.
true actually. Yeah, if you got it wrong, then you're
Yeah,
an idiot.
stick to German, mate. You know what you're talking about.
Sacre bleu.
So
Allez.
the Untouchable. Je put on November.
It's like Wingardium Leviosa, mate.
Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir?
Vamos a la playa.
Wow. Xenophobia.
Alright, yeah, hitting the race card.
It's Spanish.
Vamos a la playa. Anyway, sorry. This is a French film. It's about a guy who's paraplegic, quadriplegic. I don't know. What's this?
What's the
When you
difference?
can't move from the neck.
Paraplegic is
When you can't
the
use your
legs.
legs, I think. Yeah.
And
Quadriplegic is all your
Yeah.
limbs.
So quadriplegic.
Even your face.
No,
not limbs. Sorry,
limbs.
sorry. But can you move your facial expressions when you're?
I think so.
Well,
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
in the film you can.
Yeah,
Okay.
You
cool.
can't move. You can turn his neck and whatnot. So yeah. So a guy called Philip, and he's trying to find a full-time carer for him. So they hold like interviews, and there's this guy called Driss. Yeah. Driss, yeah, who is basically just there. So you know, like when you're on the dole, Joe can only relate. When you're on the dole,
Oh,
when-
wow.
Mate, he's Oi! Get the covers out. Obi is shooting.
Jesus
Oh
Christ.
God. Yeah, mate.
Wow.
Oi!
Shit.
Deep down, if he didn't have a job, he'd have done the exact same, mate. So don't worry.
It's getting hot in here, man. It
I feel like
is
Italian.
warm. It is warm in here. Oh god.
As you can see, the YAC band is.
Jesus.
Right,
mate,
tell us,
get them covers out, mate.
That wasn't even a cuss. I was just saying.
tell us about Driss.
So Driss,
It was a underhanded cuss. Fuck you.
Driss is on the dole. So
Yeah, I know about
so
that
when you're on
one.
the dole, you have to apply for jobs and that. So he needs to apply for like 3 jobs a week or something like that to get his benefit. So he's just there. He doesn't actually want to get the job. He just wants to get his benefit. So he like barges into the interview, and oh, don't be like that, Glenn.
No, that's all right.
So he just barges into the interview, and he's kind of like sort of like he doesn't really care. He's like saying, "Just sign my paper so I can say I've interviewed him." Blah 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 blah. And the guy, I think you can tell like the guy Philip, he like quite like likes him. The fact that he like his attitude, like he doesn't really care, because like the rest of the people he was interviewing were all kind of like.
Over the
Making
top.
over the top, like pitying him, sort of thing, like making a big deal out of the fact that he was like paralysed. So then he leaves. Driss leaves the place because the guy's like, "Oh, I can't," because he can't move his hands. So he's like, "I'll sign it for you later. Come back in the morning." And then Driss leaves, and he steals a Fabergé egg. I think is what they're called. Like one of them, like them decorated eggs. He steals one of them. Gives it to, so he goes to his where he's living, his flat. I think he's living with his mum or his auntie, I'm not sure. And she's got like loads of kids, and it kind of just like shows his living restraints. So like there's loads of kids running around this small place. He's trying to have a bath like in this really tiny bath, and it's like everyone, like people like trying to like, brush their teeth and stuff. And whilst if they run the water to brush their teeth, like he can't use the water to have a bath, and he's like shouting at them, trying to get out and blah blah blah. So then his mum or aunt, I'm not sure if it's either, comes home and basically kicks him out because he's been gone for 6 months, and he like without a call or anything like that. So he says like you have to get out. I can't afford to feed you basically. But you find out later that he was in prison for 6 months. That's not really a big plot. Like it's not really anything to do with anything. They just kind of like drop that in. So he goes to Philip's house the next morning, and basically Philip hires him and says like, yeah. You can be my full-time carer. He's like, oh, I bet you won't last a month, sort of thing. And he's like, I think he kind of like, if someone bets him to do something, he's like, oh, I have to do it now.
Yeah.
So he basically does that. So then he goes and he's like amazed by like having a massive room, massive bathroom, massive bathtub, and then he has to like learn to care for Philip. And like at first he's like not really like getting it, and he's like, because he's got like massage him and stuff to make sure it like keeps flowing, and like he doesn't get the fact that he literally has to do everything for him. So like the phone would ring, and he would pick up the phone and be like, "Oh, here you go," and he'd be like, "Oh, sorry, I forgot," and stuff like that. And so it's like you got to pick him up, shower him, and there was a bit where they were like, oh, you need to shampoo my hair, and he like uses his foot cream on his hair and his shampoo on his feet, and that's quite funny. But so yeah, they build like a relationship and a pretty close bond. Philip kind of teaches Driss about like classical music and stuff like that, and then Driss kind of like teaches Philip about like how to be like kind of more carefree, because he's like one of the only people who just like treats him as if he's a normal person rather than being as like someone who's disabled. And they seem like they develop a really good relationship. And then for some reason they Philip's like, oh, you don't want to be looking after me the rest of your life, you should leave. And I don't really know why that came about. So he quit, I guess, for a little bit. He quit his job. And then like a few months pass by and Philip gets a new carer, and he's like obviously visibly like unhappy at the new carer because they don't treat him the same way Driss treated him, and blah 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 blah. And yeah, and then one of his help like contacts Driss, tells him to come back, and obviously Driss comes back, and then they're all happy again. And he met this woman. He was like this man Philip's wife died from like a terminal illness or something, and he was contacting this woman through letter, but they never spoken. So then Driss convinced her to speak to him, and then after they spoke, he convinced her to meet him. But I think Philip was like embarrassed to meet him because the woman didn't know he was like quadriplegic. So he kind of like said, oh yeah, I'm going to go meet him, I'm going to go on a date, but he didn't actually go. He just said it just to please Driss, because Driss really wanted him to go and meet this woman. But by the end of the film, he like kind of like sets Philip up, and he like reels him to a restaurant, like making him think that they're going to have lunch, but then he just leaves them there, and the woman comes in that he's been contacting, and they have to go on a date or whatever. But yeah, it was a quite touching film. It was pretty nice, based on a true story as well. So yeah, it was really nice.
How old is it?
How was the film?
Yeah.
I think it's like 2011.
Yeah, it's not that old.
No.
It's really good. I think they're remaking it into.
They are. Kevin Hart and Bryan Cranston are going to be in it. So.
Oh really?
Yeah. So yeah, there was one funny bit because he was talking about Hitler earlier, and that just made me think about that. So he's got a beard. Like this is quite near the end of the film. He's let his beard grow out, and the guy like Driss like shaved his beard, and he's like, all right, ready, and he like you can't see the thing, then you can't see, it's like faded black, and then it comes out, and he's like got this fucking awful beard. I swore again, this awful beard, and then he's like, oh, shave it off. And he's like, okay, I'll shave it off. Then they do the same thing again, and he's got like a Hitler mustache.
It's like what you did with your beard when you did like Wolverine, and then you did like pedo massage.
And he's like getting his arm and doing like the hell, whatever, and he's like moving his hair so it looks like Hitler. And
then also like when they danced to September by Earth, Wind and Fire.
Yeah,
that was banging.
Yeah, that was really cool. But yeah, there's a lot of nice moments in the film. I think it's really, really quite good. I didn't think I would like it, but Larry suggested it to me ages ago, and I never thought about watching it. But because we were talking about like foreign films last week, I thought, let me watch
Am I right in thinking that the guy who plays Philip isn't actually quadriplegic in real life?
I'm really not sure. I meant to check, but I'm actually not sure.
Because what do we think about like films about disability where the person in the disabled role is able-bodied? Is that not a bit like, there are disabled actors out there, you're not taking away from their a job from them, or
some would say that a lot of films just want high-profile people to merchandise their film. Also, an actor is an actor
go in another room
to actually portray another role, so it is their job to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So I don't think it is taken away from people who are disabled and could do them roles. But if you're having high profile people and they are acting, so they should be able to do them roles, but they're an actor, so that is their job to portray them roles.
This is a kind of facetious example, but say for example, Samuel L. Jackson's having a go at black British actors being cast in black American roles, or you might say, why doesn't a white actor or an Asian actor have play a black role then? Because they're an actor, they should be able to do other roles. It's like, you think, well, there's kind of the stipulation that this character is... And disabled actors are never going to be in the spotlight, are they, if they're not getting roles that are... I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
Is the guy who plays Thingy in Breaking Bad, is he really disabled?
He is, but not to the extent he was in the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he can walk more... ably than he can.
Is this Hector with the bell?
No,
the son.
Flynn?
Yeah.
No, he's like Walt Jr. Isn't
I think also he makes himself more speech impaired.
Okay.
But yeah, because I started watching a film on Netflix called The Fundamentals of Caring,
Is that the one with Paul Rudd?
Yeah.
And the guy from Tracy Beaker?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
What
thought
guy
it
from
was-
Tracy Beaker?
One of the
little
three
Welsh
kids.
guy. Remember, he's got a really
Rio.
scabby little
Rio,
sister.
Rio. Yeah, I thought it was quite a good film.
I
actually.
started watching it, I didn't finish it, but
No.
it kind of felt really problematic to me because the first few minutes is like, so the Welsh kid is in a wheelchair, and then Paul Rudd again is trying to be his carer, and then the kid like rolls up on his mobility scooter, and he starts like making all these like noises, going, and then Paul Rudd's like, oh my god, what is it? And he's like, hey, I'm not completely retarded, and I was just like, it just kind of felt a bit like crass, like you know, like this guy who is an able-bodied actor is playing a disabled actor who is then pretending to be even more severely disabled than he is. I was just like, well, this is a bit.
But then,
I don't know. They're playing it for comedy, and I was like, is that really?
I know what you're saying, but then at the same time, like maybe some people would use humour to
Maybe.
like lessen their upset kind of thing. So I mean, he does it a lot in the film. Throughout the film, he tends to choke on things, and Paul Rudd's like, "Oh my god, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do?" And he's like, "I was only joking," that kind of thing.
Is it an alright film?
It's alright, yeah. It's
Okay.
fairly decent. It has funny moments. Selena Gomez is in it as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Decent.
You sound really disappointed by that.
She's really. I don't
She's
know.
not an actor. She should stick to
Yeah.
music.
Yeah.
If that.
She's an actress.
Oh yeah,
Is
she was
she?
in Wizard of Waverly Place.
She did that before.
Yeah, I was going to say, was
Yeah.
she in Disney?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then she ruined music. Oh,
Then Disney ruined her.
Right.
Yeah.
Can I ask you guys something quickly about that?
No.
Do you think there's a common like denominator in the fact that a lot of these Disney like actors and actresses, like young ones, they turn out to be like really bad, like a bit like mental sort of thing. When they come out of Disney, they go like a little bit crazy. In terms
That's
of, like,
that's what they love out there, don't they? They love someone who's in the newspaper being an adolescent mental.
So you think they do it on purpose?
I reckon they get edged on a little bit.
Mm.
Like Miley
think
Cyrus.
I think it's the way they've been brought up, because obviously they start in Disney or Nickelodeon or whatever it is from a really young age.
Yeah.
They're in that machine of just pumping out.
And they're kind of,
Popular,
I think they're
famous
kind of bubble wrapped as well into this like world where
Yeah.
nothing's gonna really hurt them or affect them,
Yeah.
and there's no like
But I
real
think-
world experiences really, and then
but I
they
think-
get let go, and it's like, oh,
I think they also have to
Gotta
portray
make a name.
such a
Mm.
pure and innocent image, being
Mm.
Disney,
Mm.
and then like
Yeah.
you get like examples of like even like Hailey Steinfeld or whatever her name is. Like she wasn't. I don't think she was Disney, but she was like a child actress.
Mm.
And then like they've got like kind of suggestive songs, and then
Yeah.
they like swear or smoke, take drugs,
Oh, yeah.
and it's like
Well, the biggest.
it's what's the complete opposite of Disney is like being a crack whore.
Yeah,
sort
well, I
of
mean the biggest example of that is Miley Cyrus.
Yeah.
She went
Yeah, but
off
like,
the wall.
what do you do when you're a millionaire and you're like 16 years old? You do whatever the fuck you want, you know?
Yeah.
You like do some drugs, do some of this, do some drink, just because you can.
Justin Bieber piss in a bucket
Mm.
Piss
Why
in
not?
a bucket.
in front of people.
Piss bucket challenge.
Yeah, you know.
I was thinking about that with
You drank it later.
with what's her name from Zendaya, who played MJ or Michelle, whatever her name was,
Yeah.
in Spider-Man: Homecoming. So like a couple of years ago, I watched her on a comedy improv show, and normally they do like a lot of like suggestive, like like sexual jokes and swearing and stuff like that. And she was on that, and she basically like didn't say a word. So like I don't think that because she was like maybe contracted because she was under contract with Disney at the time. So I think they were saying like, oh yeah, she like basically you're not allowed to say anything untoward.
Yeah.
Because it's allowed time to Disney name. As soon as she's on Disney, she's on Spider-Man. She's like giving up the middle finger, saying fuck and whatnot and all shit like that. And so that's
That's
another
two right
ten.
there, bam
Fuck,
bam.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
10.
game
I'm
over.
I'm doing alright. I'm doing alright.
Double fingers.
I'm
To be
Double
fair, you're
fingers,
setting a
baby.
target for next week to swear less than
true.
this.
True.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was wondering about that because I do find like a lot, like the guy who played Eddie from That's So Raven. He's gone
Yeah,
mental.
He is nuts.
He's literally gone. Have you ever watched That's So Raven on Disney Channel?
no.
So a guy who's in that, and he was like,
That's what she does. She like stares, and then like the camera zooms in her eye, and she's like,
yeah, that's Raven. Sorry, I was thinking,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? But yeah, no, that's Not So Raven. But yeah, he's like basically gone crazy now, and he's
Yeah.
like doing all sorts of drugs and saying all sorts of stuff about his fellow characters, like they all
He's
used to have
a nutter.
sex,
He's a
and
nutter.
stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
even Screech from bloody Saved by the Bell, he went nuts as
See, and
well.
you think you're so innocent, mate. If you ever get popular, you're gonna not popular. If you get world famous, you're gonna be like crackhead Ovi, different Ovi that I.
Why?
Because that's what happens, mate. You go.
I'm not you, Ollie.
Yeah, but I do that. I'm not popular.
The fame is going to go to your head. You know that.
When you're Prime Minister, mate, all of these podcasts are going to be released. And
Yeah, I haven't said anything untoward in these podcasts. Actually, maybe
You're a misogynist.
You're a misogynist. I haven't said anything. Wait, okay. Firstly,
And you took
wait.
people on the dump.
Wait.
Don't let him defend
Wait.
himself, guys.
No, we're moving
That's
on, mate.
it,
Wait,
Wait,
no.
Segue.
No. Firstly, I'm not misogynist. I just find it funny when women and children get hit in the face. That's
You
not,
said you
that's
were.
not, that's not misogyny.
You did agree. No,
You did,
yeah,
you did.
pull it out.
I did agree.
About
I did agree.
2
I did
podcasts
agree.
ago.
I did agree.
The 42nd minute.
However, this is slanderous, guys. I
Right,
don't enjoy this at all.
right.
You're trying to tarnish my good name before I've even made one. I don't
Right,
like
let's
it.
get back to TV and film. We've segued off to our.
Nah, mate, with all them shots fired today, no one's going to think you're a
That's
good
only
person.
2, man. You guys deserved it anyway.
What were the questions that you had questions?
I've asked them.
Maybe
already.
yeah.
Oh, my one was
Maybe
the
it's
one
questions.
about so if you could marry one character from any TV show or film, what would it be? And it has to be the character, not the actress.
Elliot Reed in it from
He
Scrubs.
says Elliot Reid. I'm not buying.
Hold down.
Nah, not for me, man.
Racist.
Who's rich?
Cersei
I
Lannister.
asked you a question like this before. I think it was about it wasn't about marrying, but it was about being the best friend. You think, oh, who's the richest? Think about the person who you want to be your friend, Chris. Not someone who's rich. Someone can be rich.
Yeah, but I don't-
Someone can be rich and can be a complete arsehole, Chris.
Yeah, well, true.
There you go.
True.
You wouldn't want to be married to an arsehole, whether they're rich or
Yeah,
not.
but this is all TV series, it ain't real life, so.
So
Point of
the
the
question,
question.
is, who would you marry?
Yeah, for the character.
Who
not
the
the
hell
actress
is not a
or-
nutcase
or
in a
actor.
TV series?
Penny from Big Bang Theory.
Oh, it's
That's
like a shout, you know?
She's
that's
jokes.
Yeah.
No, because she's hot.
She's fit as fuck, but she's jokes.
And she's got a good job.
Yeah.
Maybe Claire Underwood.
Not really. Character.
She's ruthless.
Yeah, that's a
she's
shout.
She's a
that's a shout.
failed actress.
She's a
shout.
pharmacist sales.
Yeah.
She has
Yeah.
more than Leonard.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she's like a lawyer. She's worse than a lawyer. She's like the devil's advocate.
Okay, who would you say then, Chris?
Sales pharmacy.
I don't know.
sales.
Who were you thinking when you asked this question?
So I was gonna say, I know you guys don't watch it, but Chris has. So Ghost's wife from Power.
Oh, yeah.
What's her name?
She's hot.
Tasha. I think I'm pretty sure her name's Tasha. But she's character-wise, she's like ride or die for
Yeah.
the cause. And I need a wife who's commit. I don't need a Skylar.
Mate, she's
I don't need-
sneaky though, mate.
I don't need a Skylar from Breaking Bad. I need Tasha from Power because she will go along with the plan as long as the plan is the plan.
I hated
No
Skylar.
one wants Skylar from Breaking Bad.
She was such a
No.
snake.
She
She
was,
was a
man.
waste, man. I said that in the first episode.
I'll have Chuck's wife from
From Chuck.
Chuck
Chuck's wife from Chuck.
because she's like best. Like, she could defend me if I'm getting attacked. She's hot. They're intelligent.
Bless.
Yeah, there you go. That's it, really.
You shouldn't be a house husband.
I'd love.
Love nothing more.
No, that is the dream.
That's
mate.
what you're searching for,
If
isn't
you
it?
want
Oh,
Chris
yeah.
as a house husband, swipe left now.
Glenn, you
What?
didn't answer the
Swipe
question.
right.
And this
You
is
mean
funny because
right?
I answered the question. I
Whoa.
said Claire Underwood.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that.
He just said Claire
Did
Underwood.
he?
I don't know if I don't know if
from
they
House of Cards?
Yeah,
I don't know
she's
if I picked
ruthless,
it.
man.
Is that what you're into?
To be fair, if you want power couple, Claire Underwood's the way to go.
If you want
Yeah.
a threesome with another guy, Claire Underwood should be a woman.
Meacham was a beautiful man, so I wouldn't mind.
Damn.
Glenn's
No.
like, yeah.
If you want your wife to
I
cheat
bet
on
not.
you, Claire Underwood.
You,
should
Claire
be-
Underwood and Frank Underwood threesome, would you do it?
Nah.
Why not? Why not?
He'd break halfway through, mate. He'd be on the floor.
What, him or Frank?
Probably both of us, to be honest.
This is taking another weird
Oh, Glenn's
turn.
not. Sorry, we talk about this. Glenn's not really enjoying season 4
Five.
of House of Cards.
I think it's really boring.
Yeah.
It's just so slow paced. Like the first couple of series were quite fast paced, and like Frank's being like, you know, sneaky and double crossing and
I
triple
think
crossing.
you'll
Bit of a
appreciate it a
challenge.
lot more once you finish this series.
Okay, but it's just like taking so long.
It is a little longer. I think they're unravelling quite a few little bits and pieces though, which is quite clever.
How far are we now?
I'll tell you what though, you will start to really hate Tom. Is it Tom? No, not Tom.
The writer.
The writer, is that his
I think
name?
his name is Tom.
Tom.
It's Tom.
Yeah.
I actually, you remember what you said about? Because I didn't want to say this like time ago before you'd watched it, but and I suppose now you're like what, halfway through or something like that. So, you know when you said about your theory about the House of Cards and it falling down, I feel like that was quite a spot on theory because I feel like
Okay.
I think
the
it
way
was,
the way it's happening.
but then I feel like the end kind of.
because he's at the bit now where Claire's acting president.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like
I feel like that
the
was
guy
quite spot on.
Joel Kinnaman, whatever his name is,
Yeah.
the governor.
Yeah.
I think he's about to crumble. He's like losing it.
Yeah, he's losing his mind.
And he's like saying to the guy, his advisor, he's like, I'll fire you. And I'm like, well, if you fire him, he's just going to go to the underwoods.
I think there's going to be a bit that's going to annoy you. There's a jump.
Okay.
There's a jump in it, I think.
Well,
I think he's hit the jumper.
there was
Have
the
you hit the
election,
jumper,
and then like 9 weeks later,
Yeah.
it's like post-election.
Yeah.
I think he hit the jumper already.
Yeah.
That frustrated me a little bit, but at the same time I was a bit like, yeah, you probably had to do it that way.
Oh, we've been even more slow-paced.
Yeah, but maybe a reaction would have been good to see.
I thought it was really good though. Me personally, that's me personally.
I think you're right in saying that Glenn's theory does work, but at the same time, the very last episode, I don't know. You watch it before I make any more.
Okay. I'll try and watch it, but Game of Thrones is going to take up my...
Your
hour
Monday?
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep rewatching it.
I'm gonna watch it on the bus to work.
Oh no, fuck that. I got watch it on the screen.
Yeah, big screen, man.
With a plate of food next
It's
to me.
alright, my iPad.
Alright, well, Game of Thrones starts tomorrow. We will be reviewing it in spoilery detail next Sunday.
Because you should have all watched it by
And
now.
we'll try.
Joe,
And
that goes to you
Yeah,
as well,
no
mate.
excuses if...
I am going to watch it. It's easy
So-
to watch.
we'll try and get all the names right.
Yes.
I can tell you now, I will get every name wrong, and I will say that ginger one or the one with the black hair, the one with the sword. That is how I'm
The
going
one with the sword.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Yeah, I know. But that is how I'm going to describe it.
I swear they're losing characters quicker than they are gaining, so there's only going to be 10 left.
Yeah.
So you'll be alright.
There's a whole new.
It's like Guess Who. Just flicking it down, the one with the glasses.
There should be a Game of Thrones Cluedo, TM, Your Average Critic 2017, but that'd be sick, wouldn't it? Jon
Yeah.
Snow in the Eyrie with the... don't know.
With the
Sword.
dragon sword.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, so tweet us in your suggestions for your answers to our questions. So it was any favourite films and TV shows of the year, any films that you have rewatched and felt they've either improved or diminished in quality, and also Obi's question about any character from a TV show that you'd like to marry, male, female, or
Otherwise.
or Pokemon.
Or Sheldon.
All the people that like to be known as nothing.
Isn't that coming out soon, Sheldon?
I have no idea, mate.
Apparently there's people like that now. I don't want to be regarded as male or female.
God,
To be fair, there's a section of right. Don't come at me if there's any feminists. There's a section of women who don't like to be referred to as females because they feel it's derogatory.
It's the same for males. That's what I was just saying.
Yeah.
We can end now, by the way. This
And
is
on that
horrible.
bombshell, thank you so much for listening to episode 22, and tune in next week where I'm sure the main focus is going to be Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
Peace.
That is.